no delays. We're just going to get right into this. Before I begin...
Your Honor, we have a pretrial motion.
I understand that. We'll get to that in just a moment. I just want to address the courtroom as a whole first. Much as I pointed out during Mr. el-Rahman's bail hearing, this is a matter of extreme public interest. I understand that there's going to be a lot of people that have a lot of investment in this matter. And in this courtroom, we have two men who are standing accused of two of the most capital level offenses in the state. They deserve the right to a fair trial. The prosecution has the right to present one, and they have the right to defend themselves. I will have no outbursts, I will have no interruptions, or anything taking away from this case. If I find that you are making outbursts, you will automatically receive contempt, you will automatically go to prison for 200 months and $20,000. This is your one and only warning. Don't fuck around, or you will find out. Is that understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
Fantastic. We are here for the People v. Ramee el-Rahman et al. Do we have any pretrial motions at this time?
I object.
Yes, Your Honor. 38 minutes prior to trial starting, Mr. el-Rahman was arrested after recklessly evading from officers. I believe charges are just being finalized now. Also in his possession was a, just to confirm, Bundy, a hot gun. Is that correct?
I can specify more. Mr. el-Rahman was in violation of bail condition 2, intoxicants. He was carrying cocaine on him. He was in violation of number 3, CVS, same thing. Number 4, he was carrying a Colt Python, which did return to a prior shootout.
Objection, Your Honor. Now, the grounds for this arrest were completely illegal. There has been zero proof, and I would more than be happy to take this case to a bench trial to prove that I actually am not guilty in this entire matter.
Okay. I'm not taking it to a bench trial right now. We got bigger matters at hand, Ramee. Here's what I will do. Given the proximity to the court case in question, I will take everything that has been presented to me under an advisement, and I will pair it alongside deliberations on the matter as to how the bail violation, if it is upheld, since I need to review them anyway, will be handled. I'll do that.
Your Honor, I think I deserve a chance to fight my battle here if they did their job very poorly and wrong. I should be fined $3 million.
You absolutely have a chance to fight it, Mr. el-Rahman. It's not going to be in this particular moment. We are here for another scheduled matter. We can hear arguments and we can hear an appeal on it, or potentially even a bench trial after this if someone's available to do so. But I'm not going to make a determination as to whether you violated bail right now. What I'm saying is I'll go and determine it while in deliberation for this matter shortly after.
Thank you so much, Your Honor. I appreciate that, Judge Adams.
Given that the evidence has not been completed and fully presented yet.
Your Honor, they shouldn't have time to do this. Yeah, see, now that's what they're going to do, Your Honor. That's what they're going to do. If we went to a bench trial now, they wouldn't have shit. Now they're going to get time to cross their T's and dot their I's, Your Honor. But it's okay. The police department is used to doing a poor job. It's fine, Your Honor. Thank you so much, Judge Adams. I'm sorry Bundy's disrespect to the courtroom today.
Well, it wasn't disrespectful, Mr. el-Rahman. It was a motion that was presented before the court, and you got the chance to rebut. Like I said, I'll take it under advisement at the time of deliberation.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Are there any additional pretrial motions from either side?
Give me 1 second, Your Honor.
Yeah, I have a pretrial motion. Give me just a moment to get the exhibit letter here.
Sure. Given that we're now in session, the evidence should be unsealed at this point.
Is it unsealed, Your Honor?
Now that we're in trial,
Is it on the government website, or where is it?
there's going to be references to it. Your counselor can pass it to you.
All right. Defense motions to strike and remove the People's AF, the recorded interview of Mr. el-Rahman, the defendant, as he was not Mirandized during that interview.
Firstly, Your Honor, they rebut that they've had access to this interview for quite some time now. This motion to suppress such evidence could have happened before. Second, it is my understanding, and I believe the director here can confirm, that was a voluntary interview, and Mr. el-Rahman was not being arrested at the time. He's also a...
Place that bag on my head, Your Honor. Objection,
Your Honor,
Your
may I
Honor.
finish?
Hold on. Pause. Ramee? We're going to allow each side to finish. We're going to keep decorum here, sir. You'll be able to rebut in just a moment, but we're going to allow the counselor to finish her statement.
Of course, Your Honor. So sorry for the...
Thank you.
Bundy's been displaying.
Your Honor, further, Mr. el-Rahman is a convicted felon. He has been arrested many times, and I believe the Supreme Court ruling from June this year has made Miranda's rules a little bit different with that sort of thing. I'm not going to go too far into detail, though, but you're well aware of the most recent ruling.
Final rebuttal from the defense.
Before we get to the heart of the matter, I just want a clarification, just a point of order on
Sure.
if there's a time limit involved in presenting motions, because it sounds like there is, but I want to hear from you, the judge. Is there a time limit that I need to meet to make a motion? Seems like you're asking for them now.
Nope. I'm asking for the pretrial motions at this time.
Excellent. That's what I thought. Rebuttal to that is, we sustain our motion to dismiss that, as my client was not read his rights properly and thought he was just having a casual chit chat.
Okay, here's what I'll do.
Your Honor, also, I just want to point out the fact. Just because I'm a felon or convicted felon doesn't mean that I don't have my rights to be Mirandized. Your Honor, I was placed with a black bag over my head and taken to an underground facility, and interrogated. This was no, by any means, voluntary. All right?
Objection. Facts not in evidence.
Objection. Maybe you should have Mirandized me before you put in your shit.
Hold on. Stop.
Your Honor, can we ask that either side addresses the judge, not each other?
Yeah, Ramee, you're gonna speak.
Yourself,
Ramee, speak to me, not to the other side.
Your Honor, you should tell that to her because she's the one who started it. Thank you so much.
She
Sorry to
did speak to me in the objection, sir. That said, here's what I'll do. Counselor Braun, I have noted and highlighted your objection to this evidence. I haven't reviewed it prior to this. I like to go into these cases unbiased and uninfluenced as much as possible. When I go back to deliberate, I will highlight that piece of evidence, determine whether it's admissible based on the absence of the Miranda rights. I will listen to it myself and make a determination at that time. Your objection is not overruled. I will consider it as I deliberate, sir.
Your Honor, I actually do have one more thing to add. Considering I'm going to get absolutely yelled at for bringing up other state sort of precedent, I am going to bring up a precedent that has occurred in this state.
Sure.
During the People versus Kenneth Jesperson and more recently the People versus Honey Esme Quick and Betty Jacks, it was brought up the idea of Mirandizing individuals on recording, and it was at that time the judge decided they did not want to make that precedent as it puts an undue burden on the prosecution.
I'll aware of both cases.
I'm going to keep that. What? Yep, perfect.
Now, Your Honor, can I rebut all of that really quick?
Sure, I'll hear it.
Your Honor, then if that's the case, then why did they Mirandize the two other interrogations except the one I did? There should be, if there's a precedent, it should be a formality of Mirandizing everybody's interrogation, not mine, not just theirs.
Your remarks are noted for the record, Mr. el-Rahman. Again, as I stated to your counselor, I will go ahead and review the tape itself, its contents, and its admissibility when I go to deliberate, sir. Are there any further objections from or pretrial motions from either side?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Bundy has one.
Sure.
Yeah. The people with motion to recuse Miss Garcia from that side of the table. Our understanding is that she is a legal aid, not a proper lawyer. And although she was previously a judge, she does not actually hold a bar certification. She is a known violent felon, and pursuant to the orders of Chief Justice Crane, let me take a look here. Legal aids are mainly intended for paralegals who have some experience, but anyone can try it. PD has final say on who they let down into the cells, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
They are intended for when no lawyer is available. Ramee's been afforded counsel, both in the fact that he's representing himself and he's got Murphy. So,
Rebuttal
Your
from the
Honor, if I
defense?
may rebut briefly to this.
Sure.
Not necessarily that I disagree or anything with what they're saying, but
Are you ready for the follows?
it's pretty foul of them to try to remove Rosa when there's like 4 of them plus other cops over there, and it's just little old me, just little old Murphy Braun over here. Little backup wouldn't be so bad for me.
I'm just
but
taking
if you you must. I'm not gonna fight.
What I do. Here's what I'll do with that. With regards to any arguments or anything presented before this court, Counselor Braun, I will rely on you to do so for your clients. I'm not expecting to see Ms. Garcia up here asking any questions or making her mark on the case per se. I'll allow her to be present, but these are your clients at the end of the day. You are counsel, sir.
Indeed. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Any additional pretrial motions at this time?
That is all from us.
Prosecution?
No, we're good, Your Honor.
Fantastic. I will go ahead and begin with the statement of charges then at this time. On July 12th, 2023, an individual identified as Ramee el-Rahman and a secondary individual were spotted leaving the roof of the Sonora Desert Sheriff's Office and entering a sports vehicle and fleeing the area. Seconds later, an explosive device with a short timer was located in the area as Mr. Kevin accused Carmine Costello of having placed the explosive. That explosive detonated, causing severe structural damage to the SDSO and nearly killing Carmine Costello. Approximately half an hour after the SDSO bombing, and 911 stated, quote, "If you don't release Carmine from custody, we are going to bomb again." Shortly after this, a bomb was planted on the roof of Mission Row Police Department. Senior Officer Aaron Bison attempted to defuse this bomb, but was instructed to wait by Sam Baas, who brought Mr. Kevin to the rooftop. Upon hearing the time left on the bomb, Mr. Kevin turned, hugged Sam Baas, and said, quote, "At least we'll go out together." Aaron Bison attempted to defuse the explosive, but was unsuccessful, and Sam Baas, Aaron Bison, and Mr. Kevin were caught in the explosion. Sam Baas succumbing to his injuries. Mr. Kevin was submitted to intensive care, and when he awoke the next day, he undertook a series of violence, described by the defendant himself as seeking, quote, "revenge." The primary target in two of these attacks was defendant el-Rahman. On July 14th, 2023, a 911 stated, quote, "Commissioner Baas is now dead. You did not listen to my previous messages. I hope you listen to this one." A small explosive device caused cosmetic damage and damage to the windows of Beaverbush Park Ranger Station. The following day, Ramee el-Rahman, allegedly having heard of this explosion, decided to troll the cops by driving RC cars in the area of Beaverbush Park Ranger Station, making beeping noises and threatening explosions, causing the already on high alert officers to panic and prepare for another attack. In an attempt to destabilize the state, the two defendants undertook a series of terroristic attacks against the state of San Andreas and the Unified Police Department, one of which resulted in the death of Commissioner Sam Baas. For these heinous and ruthless actions, the state is seeking the highest form of punishment against the two. Now, I'd like to remind everybody, again, capital punishment is on the table here with the charges that are being laid forth. With that stated, I'm going to go ahead and read off the charges. Gentlemen, I'll need you to enter a plea of guilty or not guilty at this time. I can either go off one by one or wholesale. I will start with you, Mr. el-Rahman. To one count of terrorism, how do you plead?
Not guilty.
To one count of murder of a government employee, how do you plead?
Not guilty.
2 counts attempted murder of a government employee?
Not guilty.
1 count of attempted first-degree murder?
Not guilty.
3 counts criminal use of explosives?
Not guilty.
4 counts act of torture?
Not guilty.
3 counts destruction of government property?
Not guilty.
2 counts of felony trespassing?
Not guilty.
3 counts of extortion?
Not guilty. Extortion.
Okay.
Not guilty.
Okay. You have some additional charges as well. You have 1 count of gang-related shooting pertaining to report number 88941. How do you plead?
Is this pertaining to this court trial?
This is pertaining to evidence that may have been found during a raid. There are charges being placed for these instances.
The rifle suppressor.
Was like a hot gun and shit?
Correct.
I'm okay. Not guilty. I don't even know what that is. Not guilty, Your Honor.
Okay. 8 counts of attempted murder of a government
Not
employee.
guilty. I didn't do that shit.
1 count of grand theft auto.
Not guilty.
1 count of criminal possession of firearm class 1.
Not guilty.
And 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia.
Not guilty. Okay, maybe
Okay.
the drugs guilty on that. Okay, I had probably coke and stuff.
Okay. Let the record show that the only charge that the defendant has pled guilty to is possession of drug paraphernalia.
I like to smoke weed sometimes, do some cocaine. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Almerion, I turn to you. To 1 count of terrorism, how do you plead? Mr. Almerion, if you're speaking, I can't hear you.
Your Honor, my client just needs time
Brief
this
moment. Okay, understood. We'll allow for a quick recess while he gets his wits about and enters his pleas. It's Red Hot, something bong, private. Everyone that's hopping over, thank you all for the follows. Real quick, just gonna let everyone know, I don't read chat during open testimony. I am taking notes. Notes are important. We got to make sure we get this right and make sure everything that everyone said is correct. So, be good. Mods will bop you if they need to. They're not afraid to. And we will, have a good court case. Understood? Cool. Love it. Thunderclays, thank you for the follow. Just let me know when Mr. Almerion is ready to enter his pleas. Defense.
Hey, I'm gonna do this for you. Understand, OG?
Good one, Judge. Another epic tilting case. That'll be fun. Dink donk.
Ugh. Ugh. Miguel.
Counselor Braun, has he advised you and made you aware of his intent to plea, or no?
He advised me and made me aware of his intent to pee. Okay, that's all I know so far.
To pee, not to plea. Okay.
Yeah, to pee. Without that.
Okay. Right. Got it.
But he'll give his intent to plead. Yeah, Miguel, your turn to plead not guilty.
Oh yeah, not guilty.
Okay. Is that to just the charge of terrorism, sir, or is that going to be wholesale to all charges against you?
Everything.
Okay. Let the records show that the defendant, Miguel Almerion, is pleading not guilty to all charges. As we have gone through all pre-trial motions and the defendants have entered their recording pleas, we will go ahead and turn over to the state for opening statements. Prosecution, floor is yours.
Your Honor, we are going to have to motion for unfortunate recess considering one of our witnesses may be kidnapped.
Okay.
That sounds like a you problem.
Your Honor, is the presence of that witness required to observe other testimony? Or, I mean, I don't see why we couldn't just proceed.
Brief sidebar, please. Have everyone step forward. Okay. The identity of that witness hasn't been made public yet, to my knowledge, so I just want to be sure.
Is there any proof that this person is kidnapped, or is she just talking shit?
Ramee, I don't
She's
have
the
any
one who
reason to
did the
believe
dumb
that they're
shit.
lying. So I'm guessing Carmine was kidnapped?
Yep.
Okay.
Approximately 10 to 15 minutes ago, he was called. He was en route to the courthouse with France Gall, who is currently present within the courthouse, standing right outside of the doors of the bar. She's here now, and he's not. The people do have an affidavit that's sworn by Carmine. It's not as formal as the other ones are, but we're prepared to enter that in his absence.
Is it signed?
It was submitted directly to me from him via email.
But is it signed?
He's the one who wrote it, so yes? Question mark.
He would have signed it. It wouldn't have been presented to the courts in the same fashion as the others. As it was anticipated he would be testifying here today. Okay.
Well, Your Honor, if he's not here, then the affidavit shouldn't even be. Listen, it's not my. It's not. I shouldn't be penalized for Carmine not coming to trial. This guy's dumb as hell. He probably either forgot or some shit. I don't know, who knows? You know what I'm saying?
No, we just said he was
We're just
called.
trying to fuck everybody over.
Yeah.
Well, no one's being penalized here by individuals asking for a recess. It's not a penalty, Mr. el-Rahman.
We're just trying to figure it out.
That being said, obviously you have two other witnesses that can be called in this matter. Can we look to go through opening statements, get through the other two witnesses if we so need, and then move to Carmine and kind of allow time for the situation to either resolve or readdress this at a time where we need to make a call on this, or where are we at here?
I mean, I think that's fine. I just wanted to make sure you were aware of it at least.
Okay. All right. We'll go ahead and get things rolling here, and then we will make sure to go ahead and continue. If we need to address this matter at a later point, we will.
good.
we'll allow Mr. Costello time to, you know, arrive, as it were, I suppose. So, thank you.
I'm sure there's enough cops on duty to find them.
Question for answer. Figure something like, you know.
Okay. Motion for the recess has been denied. I've advised counsel of how we are going to proceed at this time. We will allow additional time for the witness to arrive to court. With that said, prosecution, let's go ahead and move into opening statements at this time.
Your Honor, members of the police department, people of the court, today's case is one of good and evil. The good, exemplified by brave officers of the Unified Police Department, led by the late Commissioner Sam Baas. The evil, illustrated by our two defendants here today. Two men who would so carelessly attack the various police stations across Los Santos in an effort to sow chaos and mayhem. All of this stemming from a petty feud between the defendant's gang and Corrections Officer Carmine Costello. A petty feud that would result in the two woefully choosing to attempt to murder random officers and civilians. This carelessness would result in the death of Commissioner Sam Baas at the hands of the defendants. Today's case will show you beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendants were the two individuals who would lay waste to the SDSO, MRPD, and Beaver Bush Ranger Station. These attacks resulting in the death of one of San Andreas's finest. We invite the court to listen to evidence and testimony provided today by the people to find these two men guilty of the crimes accused. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for that defense.
All right, so we got a lot of
Hold
stuff
on,
to get
pause.
through today, apparently. What's going on?
Who the hell is
Talking
yelling
into
in the
my
back?
booking. It's a fat robot up there.
Wait, there's someone upstairs.
Okay. Carmine, is that you? And if so, come down here and come address me directly, please.
Infinity! I'm behind! I'm looking at it.
I'll just wait.
I'm coming down. Excuse me?
Oh, Jesus.
Just,
Can we just give Carmine
give this a
contempt
minute
for
to
the
resolve.
outfit in general, Your Honor?
As you're a witness.
I'd like to figure
Yeah,
out what
so
the hell's
just-
going on here first.
Yeah, I'm just going to clarify that the people are perfectly okay with any kind of contempt or psych check or whatever's necessary.
Remove the mask, please. Remove the mask.
It's me, Your Honor.
Remove the mask, or I will give you contempt.
I don't think he can, Foreman.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm here.
Okay.
I wasn't kidnapped. I made it.
Oh, okay.
Understood.
For the trial.
Okay.
I'm
All
here
right.
to
Cool.
give testimony against.
Yeah, people's motion stands.
I'll
Okay.
take it under advisement.
Can I get
Carmine,
all
go
this
stand.
off?
Go
Oh,
stand
thank
here.
God
Come here.
he's here. Thank God. I'm happy he's here.
All right. You can go and stand in the gallery until it is your time to testify, sir.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm happy he's here.
Mr. Braun, your opening statement. I apologize for the interruption, sir.
You know, and before I get into that, I'd just like to motion for, you know, some sort of some evaluation on Mr. Costello. He seems a bit off. You know, he might not be credible at giving testimony at the moment. Could be worth getting him a checkup.
Bottle from the prosecution?
See, are we seeking a medical checkup for him or a psychological checkup?
Both. A little bit of
okay.
both. I mean, he was
I
just
am fine.
unaccounted for, and now he's here and acting strangely. So that's saying a lot for Carmine to say that he's acting strangely.
I think we've got a couple of medical professionals.
We have a couple of
in
medics
there. I
here.
wouldn't mind them giving them like a once-over concussion test or
Wait,
whatever.
there were two therapists right behind me and they've disappeared.
Okay. All right. First off, let's allow him to get out of the suit. Somebody wants to let him in the back to change, please.
Yeah, I got him, Your Honor.
And then secondly, Miss Pendragon, you're here.
Yes.
Are you able to give him a once over and make sure he's okay once he's changed?
I mean,
medically?
see if he's like on drugs or something.
Sure. That's what I'm looking for here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am high on justice. Up and away.
Seems a little
I'm
off.
gonna be,
That's all.
I'm gonna be honest. This seems like completely average Carmine behavior. So
That's true. Carmine does act rather unique on a regular basis.
That's why I said just a little off. It's just a little off. Just a little skew.
He's known to be abusive towards prisoners. They probably got back at him or something.
Yeah, could be. All right.
We'll see.
Where was I?
While they allow for that to happen and while Miss Pendragon takes a look, Mr. Braun, your opening statement is where we're at.
Do you want me to go back there right now?
No, let him come out. Let him change in peace,
Okay.
please. Then he can make his way out here, and you can, do what you have to do. Mr. Braun, please.
All right, ladies and gentlemen of the court, your honors. I'm going to be using my time for my closing, so I'll be merciful at this time and just keep my remarks brief. My client, the defendant, Mr. el-Rahman, is completely innocent of these unsubstantiated charges. Miguel is here too. I'm not sure why. And we are going to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they cannot prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they are guilty of the murder of Sam Baas and also terrorism and all those other charges. Thank you.
Your Honor, can we get a point of order from the defense if Counselor Braun is only representing el-Rahman, or if he's representing Mr. Almerion as well?
I'm representing both. I'm just not sure yet what Miguel how he.
I'll allow for the creative license, Counselor Gilfaxi. He is entered on the docket as representation for the defense.
Yeah, that's understandable. I just wanted a point of clarity based on that opening, Your Honor.
Your Honor, please thank the prosecution for ruining my joke by making me explain it.
I
You can only
understand.
find one pair of clothes from outside. I think that should be fine.
That's okay. That's fine. Okay. With opening statements out of the way, thank you both. Prosecution, we will go ahead and call your first witness. Not this time.
Alrighty, we're going to call Director Brian Knight to the stand.
Okay. Director Knight, come on out. All right, please go ahead and swear in the witness.
Okay, raise your left hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury? So help you, Han.
Absolutely.
The witness has been sworn in, Your Honor.
Thank you. Counselor, the floor is yours.
Alrighty, please state your name and rank for the record.
It's going to be Director Sergeant Trooper Brian Knight.
Alrighty, and do you hold any special positions within the Unified Police Department?
Yes, Director of the MCU.
Alrighty, and what does this entail from day to day?
It mostly consists of fixing things beyond my responsibilities.
More specifically, what is your field of expertise in that regard?
Major crimes.
Alrighty, Your Honor, we'd like to establish this witness as an expert witness in investigations.
The title already does that for him, Counselor. Please continue.
I just want to do it formally. Thank you, Your Honor. Alrighty, we'll get to those questions in a bit. Were you on duty on the 12th of July, 2023?
I was.
Alrighty, and were you involved in the incidents of the People's N? These are the bombings of the SDSO and MRPD.
I was.
Alrighty, were you at MRPD on this day?
Yes.
Okay, were you alerted to the bomb?
I was.
And how were you alerted to this bomb?
I received a phone call from Bundy, and he was describing to me a situation transpiring over here at SDSO where a bomb was being planted. And shortly thereafter, I'd say approximately 30 seconds, I walked out of the conference room, which is adjacent to the front lobby of Mission Row PD. I walked outside and just, walking around with the phone call. And that's when I began to hear a beeping. Beeping associated with the bombs that are typically found in Los Santos.
Have you heard this sort of beeping before?
Yes.
Okay, and what did you do when you heard this noise?
I immediately informed Bundy that there was very likely a bomb at Mission Row PD, and I immediately began to clear the building to ensure that there would be no loss of life, loss of potential civilians, or even suspects that may be in custody.
Okay, and did you attempt to look for the bomb?
I did. I did this simultaneously to clearing for two reasons. Same objective, right? I have to look for it, and anyone that I run into, I move out. And I proceeded to clear every level.
Yeah. Did you locate this bomb?
I did.
And where was it?
It was, there's a door leading to the roof of Mission Row PD, going up a kind of like a spiral staircase. Upon exiting the door to the roof, there was a bomb placed just a little bit in front of it.
Alrighty, and did you witness the explosion?
I did.
Alright, and what was the damage from this explosion?
The entire building collapsed, and it resulted in Bison, late Sam Baas, and Mr. K getting injured. In the case of Sam Baas, he ultimately succumbed to his wounds.
Your Honor, can we ensure that the peanut gallery isn't going to be making silly comments during this? I don't know if you heard that from where you're at, because it was...
I didn't hear anything from where I'm at, but I'm going to go ahead and remind you. If I catch word of any outbursts, 200 months, $20,000.
She's just simply making stuff up to paint the image. I definitely heard it, Your Honor. He said, once again, you're sorry again for Bundy's disrespect towards the courtroom.
Okay.
I heard it too.
Bundy didn't even say anything, Ramee. Shut up. Let's keep going.
Alrighty. Alrighty, I want to move on to the people's S, as in Sierra. Your statement in this states that you had a phone call with Mr. K. Is that correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and in this report, you state that he wanted payback. Did you ever discover who he wanted this payback for?
Yes.
And who was that?
It was payback for the death of Sam Baas.
And did you ever discover his reasoning for wanting this?
At the time, at the immediate time of the phone call, following events that transpired afterwards, it began to hone in on Mr. Ramee el-Rahman and Miguel Almerion.
Okay, and did you discover any instances of attacks of revenge pertaining to this case?
I did.
Okay. Give me a little moment to chat with my co-counselor.
1 second, chat. Just getting this adjusted so it's visible for people.
She doesn't even know what she's doing. She's asking about what kind
Mr. el-Rahman, no further outbursts, or I will give you contempt.
What is it, illegal to speak the truth? Like, I'm confused.
Your Honor,
Mr. K.
Your Honor, I believe this is a prosecutor. Is she a police officer?
This is a prosecutor, Mr. el-Rahman.
Okay, so why is she wearing police uniform?
Your Honor, it's a hat honoring the individual who died in this court case.
Part of the uniform.
Mr. el-Rahman, I'll defer to the charging decisions on, impersonation to the UPD. I appreciate your feedback.
Sorry about that. Once again, the disrespect is crazy.
It is, Ramee. It really is.
Hey.
Yeah. I've never seen hats in a court.
What's up, Jerry? Huh? What's up?
You gonna let him say that to you?
Yeah, no,
You're not gonna hit him with a disrespect.
No. I hit him with the it is, as in he's the one being disrespectful.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Since the bombing that occurred on July 12th, Director, did you conduct any interviews in relation to this matter?
I did.
Okay. Was
promoted.
Mr. el-Rahman one of the individuals that you interviewed?
That is correct.
Do you recall the date that you interviewed him?
Not offhand.
Okay. How was the interview initiated?
Mr. el-Rahman and myself exchanged email communication.
Okay. Did you agree to meet somewhere?
Yes. We agreed to meet over at the SDSO.
Okay. Did Mr. el-Rahman voluntarily meet you at the SDSO?
That is correct.
Okay. Did you have lights and sirens on your car?
I had them, but they were not on.
Okay, perfect. Did you use your lethal firearm to bring him into custody?
I did not.
Did you use your less than lethal equipment to bring him into custody?
I did not.
Okay. Where did the interview take place?
It took place at the FIB building.
Okay. To your knowledge, who is the current proprietor of that building?
Aegis.
Aegis. Okay. Is Aegis a police organization?
It is not. It is a civilian organization.
Okay.
Something along those lines.
All right. Perfect. Do police regularly conduct business, I guess we could call it, at the Aegis building?
They do not.
Okay. Were there any police officers wandering around in the halls on that particular day?
There were not. No.
Okay. To your knowledge, are there any processing facilities at the Aegis building?
Objection. What is the relevance to this line of question?
I can rebut.
I'll hear a rebuttal.
If you need me to.
I'll hear a
Just in response to that motion at the beginning, like he's already going to weigh it over. I don't know why you got to have a whole line of questioning about it.
Because these are the arguments we would have made in rebuttal to the motion, but we didn't really get to that point, so we're proving the voluntariness and willingness of that interview through these questions.
All right.
Final rebuttal from the defense.
No, we're good. We're good. We're fine.
Okay. Senior Ranger Bundy, you have made your point to me at this point in time about these facilities. I understand what you're getting at. No need to belabor it. I'll let it remain on the record, but you're at the end of the line here. Okay.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna let Odessa take over the reins then.
Alrighty, I want to talk about the interview itself, Director.
Sure.
At any point, did you talk about the relationship between the two defendants?
I believe so. I'd have to, reference the video. There was some conversation in regards to that.
Okay, and did you at any point discuss these aforementioned revenge attacks?
Yes.
Okay, and at any point did you question Mr. el-Rahman regarding his role in such attacks?
Yes.
Okay. And at any point did he admit to being a victim in these attacks?
There was a lot of things that Mr. el-Rahman stated.
Okay, but at any point did he admit to being a victim in these attacks?
I don't recall if he said so outrightly. That's something that would be need to be referenced in the tape.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Did Mr. el-Rahman at any point admit to being at any of the 3 locations that were bombed during the incidents in question?
Okay. Objection. The leading is getting to where I gotta object. So could we tone that down, Your Honor?
Rebuttal.
I can reword if that'll appease them.
Well, I mean that question is like compound as well and leading. So just
It is inherently leading in nature. If the council is willing to reword, I will go ahead and sustain. You can re-ask the question in a non-leading fashion, counselor.
Yep. Did you question Mr. el-Rahman regarding his involvement in the incidents he's being charged with today?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Did you question Mr. el-Rahman regarding his involvement in the incidents he's being charged with today?
I did, yes.
Your Honor, his objection. Never mind. Just forget it.
Just something to say, Ramee?
Didn't she just ask him that question? And he said that he doesn't recall. It needs to be referenced in the tape.
No, with regards to the I don't recall, it was pertaining to the question of did any point did you admit to being a victim of those attacks? This is a new question, asking if he questioned you in regards to the charges that you faced today. This is a new question.
Sounds good.
Did you question Mr. el-Rahman regarding his whereabouts on the days of the attacks?
I did.
Okay.
Keeping notes, chat. Hopefully those are at least somewhat visible for you.
You recall what the answer was to those whereabouts?
His story and narrative changed a couple times. I recall him stating at one point that he was he had placed himself in Sandy Shores by the SDSO, but he was inferring that he was not at the police station whatsoever. So I don't recall the exact position he had placed, but he was navigating away from the station.
Okay, and in the written statement following this interview in the People's S, there is mention of Beaver Bush Ranger Station. Do you recall this?
I do, yes.
Okay, and do you recall what Mr. el-Rahman stated regarding the ranger station?
There was discussion about a RV vehicle that he claimed was his.
Okay, and did he at any point explain why the RV vehicle was brought up?
He tried to, but once again, he had many answers to it.
Okay, do you recall any of those answers?
Not offhand.
Your Honor, the people are happy to allow the director a chance to review the evidence. 1 second, I'm having trouble hearing.
Objection, Your Honor. Each interrogation is like 2 hours long, Your Honor.
I think,
Your Honor, I'm sorry. I couldn't
like
hear the
a
defense. I
while
couldn't
to
hear
review this
anything for the last 30 seconds, Your Honor.
There was a general objection placed, counselor, pertaining to the length of the evidence in question, and allowing him to review the interrogations would place an undue burden on the court as far as efficiency in proceeding this matter along.
Yeah, Your Honor, I reviewed the entire evidence today, so the time
Your
to
Honor,
do that was before now.
Yes, we've had this. This has been on the docket for about 2 weeks now. If they're not prepared for their own case, that they're trying to prosecute somebody with my life on the line, then we shouldn't have to sit here and watch and have them hold their hands and reviewing the case and their evidence that they put through.
Sure,
Your Honor,
go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say it's very set precedent that witnesses are allowed to review the evidence that they're being questioned about.
He's also a prosecutor. He's
So
not
an
They
hour
are-
and 15-minute video. We're going to review
Okay.
that.
Is there a
there
particular
are-
portion that you would like the witness to reference so that we're not stuck here for an hour and 15 minutes, counsel?
I'm not asking him to review the tape itself. I was trying to get to that point. There is written notes that Mr. Correction Director Brian has put in to this. I'm happy to allow him to review those notes.
Are those notes entered as an article of evidence? Is that the People's
Yep,
S
the
that you
People's
referred
S.
to?
That's
Okay.
correct.
Okay. So I will go ahead and allow the witness to refer to the evidence that has been entered under the People's S. Counselor Braun and Mr. el-Rahman, he's not reviewing an entire tape for reference. This should take just a quick moment.
Yes, Your Honor.
Give me 1 second as I pull this.
I'm going to go ahead and bold this and make it something that I have to come back to. Chad, I don't have everything like perfectly lined up that I need here. I want to go ahead and link to this real quick, but I don't want to drop and leak things from the process. So give me 1 second. I'm closing the window.
I've got the People's S open right now. Case number 87423. Is that the correct one?
No. Oh, it's the People's Team. My apologies. For some reason, it's out of order on here, Your Honor. It'd be 87557.
Perfect. I got it ready.
All right.
Could you repeat the question for me, please?
Oh, yeah, it was regarding the RC cars. Why did Mr. el-Rahman bring these RC cars up?
Okay.
That it was a phase. Oh, I see. He picked up the RC car from the ranger station, and he stated he had heard about the bombings over at Beaverbush, and he decided to, quote unquote, troll the cops.
And how would this trolling the cops and RC cars be linked?
These were identified as driving around and making beeping sounds similar to that of the car bombs, or sorry, the bombs that were placed at the police departments.
Okay, and did Mr. el-Rahman ever indicate that he had knowledge regarding the bombings?
Yes, I mean, in his statement prior to this, he had heard about the bombings, his own words.
Okay. Alrighty then. And who brought up the discussion of the incidents in question first?
It was in regards to the RC vehicles.
No, the incidents in question, the 3 bombings of the police stations.
He did.
Okay, and how did he bring this up?
In jest, heard about what happened to Sam Bass, PD, those sort of statements.
Okay. At any point during this questioning, did Mr. el-Rahman contradict himself?
His answers were very much all over the place.
Okay.
Yeah, objection.
Objection, Your Honor.
Leading.
What's the objection?
Leading.
Objection to leading and speculation. Any
And
number of things.
asked and answered. Oh, to be honest, too.
Yeah, that's
I can,
actually valid.
I'll hear a rebuttal.
Rebuttal on leading, just because it's got a yes or no answer doesn't mean it's leading. It's just closed. He can answer either way that he wants to. Speculation, It's not speculation. He witnessed it firsthand. He was the interviewer. Asked and answered. This hasn't been asked.
Yeah, I said earlier that he was contradicting himself, but that's also his opinion, not something he can speak to definitively. So it's speculation.
Okay. I'm going to address these one by one. Objection asked and answered is going to be overruled. This question itself was not directly asked. Further, there was an answer that was given to the effect of, it was on the question of did he explain why it was brought up. The answer was he tried to, but once again, he had many different answers. I believe this question is a little bit more pointed and is speaking directly to the investigator's direct understanding of the interrogation. Objections are going to be overruled. I'll hear the answer, as it is a yes or no question. Counselor, you may re-ask or Director, you can answer if you recall the
yeah,
question.
I was waiting. Yeah,
Yeah,
if
at
you
any
could just
point
ask
during-
the question again.
Yeah, at any point during questioning, did Mr. el-Rahman contradict himself?
Yes.
And how so?
His answers were, he'd say one thing and then he'd say something else when questioned on it.
Okay, that got me to the same spot I was at before for reference. I didn't really get me anything new,
Okay.
and Brian's
At
not
any
being
point
specific.
Was Mr. el-Rahman questioned if, or sorry, was any point? You stated prior that you questioned Mr. el-Rahman regarding his involvement in the charges accused and the incidents involved in the charges accused. Did at any point did you question him regarding if he had knowledge about the suspects?
Yes, specifically in regards to Miguel and what was going on, transpiring between himself and Mr. K.
I'm waiting on an objection on that.
Your the people's tea here, you state, or you had written here that I'm going to quote this. Ramee el-Rahman states he's unsure who planted the bomb at Mission Row Police Department. Ramee el-Rahman states he thinks C. Costello was in Mission Row Police Department as well. Throughout this investigation, was there a link between these involvements and Mr. Costello?
There was.
And what was that link?
Well, the Mr. Costello was being, well, some eyes it, targeted and sort of blamed for a series of incidents. In relation to when the Mission Row PD bombing was placed, there was inferences that he was behind it.
Okay, and did you ever learn where Mr. Costello was during those bombings?
He was in custody.
So based on that, would it have been possible for Mr. Costello to plant the bomb?
Impossible.
Give me a moment before we ask the expert questions. I just want to ask Bundy here if he's got anything else.
Sure. Miguel playing Tarkov already is already bored. Yeah, not everyone's got the brain for court, man. It's fine. That is, you know, some people are in court, some people aren't.
I'm just gonna kind of simplify a lot of these. What was a recording done of the interrogation of Ramee el-Rahman?
Yes.
Who was responsible for the chain of custody on that? As in, who pressed play on the recorder?
I didn't.
Okay. Can you confirm that the copy submitted into evidence is identical to everything that transpired that hasn't been doctored?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Same questions, but for the Miguel Almerion interview, who was responsible for the recording of the Miguel interview?
I was.
Okay. Can you confirm that the copy on the transcript is the same as the one you originally recorded?
That is correct.
Okay. Hasn't been doctored or anything along those lines, has it, Director?
It has not.
Okay. All right. You know, I wasn't going to ask these questions, but you know what? No, I'm still going to save it for closing. I'll defer to Odessa.
Okay. Whoever's got the straw. Okay. Clowns in the upstairs area. That's 2 clowns. Both of them get contempt. One of them is Chatterbox. I didn't see the other.
Woo! 200 months, baby.
Oh my
It's 200.
God,
That's 200 months for you too, Bon Bon. I saw you that time.
Are you okay, Your Honor?
I'll be okay. You
Your
know.
Honor, I have reason to believe this was a stage attack on behalf of Bundy.
Oh no, the clowns hate me.
I have reason to believe that the clones are just being dumbasses, as it were, and yucking around. That said, they'll pay the price for doing so. Counselor, please continue.
Alrighty, I want to move on to some expert questions here, as we have established you as an expert in investigations. Did you pull cell phone records for Mr. el-Rahman?
I did.
Okay, did you pull cell phone
Hold
records?
on, guys, please. Mr. K, is that you having a snack over there?
Oh no, not me, sir.
Jim, I heard him. It's him.
My
Okay.
client had a frog in his throat. He was just
Okay, please keep it down.
struggling
The
to
the
breathe.
microphones are on, so please keep it down.
Oh no, I'm chipabetic. I don't eat chips.
Okay, all right. Well, either way, whoever is, just keep it down. We don't want to hear you eat. Please continue.
So did you pull cell phone records for Mr. el-Rahman?
I did.
Okay, did you pull cell phone records for Mr. Almerion?
I did.
Alrighty, and what sort of information do you garner from these types of records?
Text records, call records, duration, GPS locations.
Okay, and
Sorry.
with these GPS locations, Your Honor.
Whoa, is she okay, Your Honor?
I'm sorry?
I don't know what's going on.
See, I'm just worried about the health of the defendant over here. He seems like he's having some sort of stroke with the noises he's making.
I'm chill, Your Honor. I don't know.
I
what's going on.
didn't hear anything.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything either.
Ramee, keep it down, please.
I'm not doing
I don't
anything.
know what she's talking about.
I understand, but if you need to speak to your counselor or something, step to the side, okay?
Okay, we'll do. We'll do.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Alrighty. How accurate is the GPS locations for these records?
It's able to narrow down to like roughly a quarter of a typical Los Santos block.
Okay.
A third to a
And-
quarter. Yeah.
Alrighty. And at any point, did you
hell does that mean?
Run these GPS locations for the times of the bombing?
I did.
Okay. And we'll start with Mr. el-Rahman. Did Mr. el-Rahman, any of his GPS locations come back to near the locations of the bombing?
Yes.
Alrighty. And which one was that?
All of them.
Alrighty. And did any of them come back for Mr. el-Rahman? Or correction, Mr. Almerion?
Yes.
Alrighty then. Bundy, I'm good on questions if you've got anything else.
Nope, no further questions.
Okay. We'll open the floor to cross-examination. Counselor Braun.
I'll go after. You want me to go first, or you want to go first?
Your
know what
Honor,
you're talking about, Justin?
While they
My co-counsel
confer-
has some questions.
All right, cross-examination.
While they
here we
confer,
go.
Can I get a quick reminder on what the time and fine is for contempt tonight, Your Honor?
Yeah,
200 months,
200
$20,000.
months. Yep.
Okay, I'm putting together a
forget that,
report.
Ramee.
I've got Bonbon and Chatterbox on there.
Okay.
already.
What'd you say,
Fantastic.
Axel? Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Shit, fucking FBI cop. Sorry.
Ramee,
Your Honor,
focus
I
on the
took call
questions.
For that was very rude.
Listen,
Focus
if I
on the
die
questions,
tonight,
Ramee.
I'm dying tonight. You know what I mean? All right. So, Mr. Knight.
How you doing, Mr. el-Rahman?
How you doing today, Director? You're
Looking
doing
good.
good. Now,
Is
Your
it a
Honor.
new season?
Yeah. On 8. I'm on 8 now. Now,
All
Your
right.
Honor. Just because I'm only bringing this up because you said it's going to remain on the record. This is in questioning to Bundy's questioning of the interrogation, okay, for the video.
I understand. I can put it together, sir.
Now, you said that we met up, Brian, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And that we went to the FIB building together, right?
Correct.
How did I get down to the FIB building?
In a vehicle?
Okay. Why don't you describe to me the process? We met up. Describe to me the process when we met at SDSO to when we got to the FIB.
You arrived. We got in a vehicle. and we went to the FIB building.
Okay. Now, Your Honor, I'd like to. I'll leave. I'll say it in my. Okay. And was I wearing anything on my head when I got to the FIB building? Did I know that we were going to the FIB building?
The location you did not know.
Why is that?
I don't think you've been there.
Okay. Was I cuffed up when we went to the FIB building?
Sorry, I'm hearing a knocking sound. Could you say again?
Yeah,
Was I
where's the?
detained or-
Go ahead, Mr. el-Rahman.
Was I detained or cuffed when we were going to the FIB building?
You were placed in cuffs. Yes.
Why is that?
To make it look cool. It was part of the, the suits and Brian night thing. We're trying to make it dope.
Oh, so you're saying that it's really cool that you met up with somebody and you handcuffed them and took them to a facility, correct?
But you wanted to go down to the clothing store too.
Okay, so you wanted to dress me up before you fucked me. Is that what you're saying?
You asked me. You said, "Yeah, let's go down to the clothing store." I'm like, "All right."
Okay. Now, was I able to see us going to the FIB building?
That's a question for you.
Your Honor, he's answering.
Oh,
yes or no
actually,
question, Your Honor.
no. You, I don't believe you could.
Why is that?
We had a big spit guard that was that we utilized.
Why don't you describe to me this spit guard?
It is.
I get what he's putting down here.
It's a vinyl cloth that covers spit from exiting Mr. el-Rahman's mouth.
Stop talking about it, Robbie. It's scary.
And do you
It
know?
didn't seem to me.
Do you normally do this to all your people that you're interrogating?
The ones I like.
Okay. Now, let's fast forward to
I get it.
Examination.
I get it.
So you saying that I had knowledge of the bombing. Okay. Now, that you stated that correctly in your questioning again with Odessa, correct? Just now?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if a building gets blown up in the city, one would likely hear about it, correct?
I'd have to speculate. It's possible.
Objection, speculation.
There you go. Your Honor, the witness should not be helping the prosecution of them doing a poor job on the objections, Your Honor.
You want me to
answering.
give more, Ramee? All right,
Yeah,
noted.
do it. Do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I do
Your
want that.
Honor, you know that thing you told me I'm
Put
not
the
allowed
headband
to do
on,
anymore?
Bundy.
Am I good to do it, Your Honor?
Look, Rami's
Put the fucking
asking
headband
for it at this point.
All right.
You know,
All right. All right. I just didn't want to get in trouble with the judiciary. Happy to, Your Honor.
I'm not sitting here offering.
Okay, we have Murphy on. All right. You know what, Your Honor?
That objection's sustained, by the way. You're asking if somebody would likely hear about something. It's not a definitive fact that someone can answer yes or no to.
Of course. Your Honor, I'm gonna retract my line of questioning here, and I'm gonna let Murphy run.
All right.
I feel blue-balled, Your Honor, so I'm going to carry my objectioning over to Murphy.
Within reason, counselor or senior ranger.
Sure. Whatever. So Brian Knight, you're the investigative expert witness, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So how substantial was your role in this investigation?
I played a part.
Okay. And just out of curiosity, you had mentioned Carmine Costello and, of course, the defendants. Had there been any other potential suspects in this investigation before settling on the accused?
Yes.
Who would they have been? Just for the record.
Well, at the start of the investigation, it could have been anybody.
Okay, we're going a little too deep with that question, Director Knight. I just need to know who the persons of interest were before they were whittled down to the accused. Somewhere between everyone and just them, you know.
Well, I mean, there was. Oh, I mean, I can't give you a precise number.
Your
Given-
Honor, given the stammering of the witness, I'm going to object on the grounds of vague and confusing, and ask that we kind of narrow that one down a little bit, maybe.
I'm going to object to non-responsive witness. He knows what I'm asking, and he's dragging his feet.
Okay. Director Knight, I'll ask you directly here from the bench.
Thank you very much.
Were there any specific persons of interest that you outlined during the course of your investigation?
We were looking at Costello. We were looking at members of Changaloa. We considered individuals from Sanguine, individuals from Gulag Gang. It's a very wide list of suspects, which were whittled down as further evidence came in.
Okay. And what evidence in particular led you to believe that the accused were guilty of these crimes?
Your Honor, I want to object to scope, considering there was the original question.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just uttering some laughter.
Okay.
Counselor,
yeah, what?
Or,
trying to contain it.
What's the objection? And Murphy, please contain it.
We're going to go with scope, considering there was a question about Carmine. And yes, I understand that the defense opened up the scope here with questioning regarding the accused. However, at this point, it's gone much further than Carmine Costello and who else was accused, to opening up, asking questions regarding every single suspect involving in a murder investigation.
I believe the inherent question here, however, Counselor, is he's asking what evidence led you to believe that the two individuals in this courtroom were guilty. I don't believe that the question itself is being asked about other individuals that may have just been named. I'll hear the answer to this question pertaining to the two that are standing before me in this courtroom.
On that line, anyway, Your Honor.
Objection's going to be overruled, Counselor.
Actually, I will object to best evidence rule then. If Brian's already admitted that he was not, the lead. He said he had a part in it. There's gonna be better evidence that the defense can question and cross-examine.
I'll hear a rebuttal.
I guess we're just doing objections now. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Your Honor, this is a case about two people being accused of murder. I'm asking what piece of evidence most made him feel they were guilty. And he's an expert witness on investigations. He's involved in this investigation, and they opened the scope wide open for this already. So
I'm going to allow the witness to speak. I'm going to allow the witness to speak to his knowledge here, Counselor. He was established as an expert witness in investigations, and he has indicated through questioning that he played a part in the investigation. If he has a direct answer to what evidence in particular led him to believe that the accused were guilty, he can give that answer. If he's not certain, he can answer as such.
Thank you, Your Honor.
There are probably, if offhand, maybe 8 pieces of evidence, 12 perhaps, that filtered out possibilities. But the most damning were the direction of Mr. K's statement seeking revenge, his intimacy that he of knowledge surrounding it, the series of locations that Mr. Miguel Almerion and el-Rahman happened to be by probabilistically, the brazen acts that they just continued to do. I mean, they were just spewing out evidence throughout the city over the course of what was not even 48 hours.
Okay, and just to back up...
and one last thing.
Hang on.
Sorry.
Director Knight. Well, you did kind of end. And I started talking. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. And a reference in regards to anonymous 911 call that was placed, in which during interview he knew intimate knowledge about said 911. So yeah, he knew the context of it.
Point of clarification for the court's purposes here, Director Knight. The question was pertaining to the believing that the accused were guilty. When you say he, who are you referring to specifically?
Sorry, Ramee el-Rahman.
Okay.
Okay. And all right, Director Knight. Let's backtrack a little bit. You mentioned something about a statement from Mr. K. In the statement of claim, it states that that the defendant, Mr. el-Rahman, made a statement about Mr. K. Which is more accurate? Because I'm confused by that. Did Ramee make the statement, or did Mr. K make the statement about revenge?
Mr. K made the statements in regards to revenge.
Okay, because it does say in the statement of claim that Mr. Ramee made that comment about Mr. K. If you read it closely, so thanks for clearing that up. The statement of claim, where it states that Mr. K left intensive care and whatnot, it says that the defendant made a statement about Mr. K seeking revenge.
He may as well have as well.
Okay. Okay, so both are true.
Yeah, may means that he may, Mr. el-Rahman may have as well. But when I made my reference just now, it was in regards to.
If you don't know,
Mr. K.
that's fine. If
Your Honor,
don't
could
know,
you not
that's
hear my
fine.
objection before the question was answered?
No, I couldn't, Counselor.
Alrighty, well, it's been answered, so.
All right. But yeah, that's if you don't know, that's fine. I'll leave it at that. I don't have any further questions. Co-counsel, do you have anything?
Ramee, do you have anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Pass for redirect.
None, Your Honor.
Okay.
This witness.
Director Knight, you can go ahead and step down at this time. Mr.
Awesome.
Braun,
Thank you
will
very
you be
much.
marking the witness for recall?
Yes.
You are marking him for recall. Okay. Director, you must remain.
All right, thank you.
Prosecution, your next witness, please.
We're going to call Corrections Officer Carmine Costello.
Mr. Costello. Come on up.
Hey, Carmine. Hey, buddy.
Looking good, Carmine. Looking good.
Yeah, he is.
Here we go.
I good to swear in the witness, Your Honor.
Yeah, go ahead. He's seated. Go ahead.
Raise your left hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury? So help you, Han.
With your chest, Carmine. Speak up.
We can't hear him.
I do.
And the witness is
has been
sworn in. Thank you. Counselor, floor is yours.
Alrighty, can you please state your name and rank for the record?
My name is Carmine Costello, third of my name, former commander of the Unified Police Force, current guard of the DOC, and former member of the Davis Police Force.
Here we go.
Right.
Here's the. Here comes the good
I
testimony.
do stocks as well.
Congratulations. All right. As per the people's A through M, there was an ongoing feud between the DOC and members of the criminal organization known as Chain Gang. Were you involved in this feud?
Sorry, criminal organization named Chain Gang?
Correct.
I don't know them as such.
Okay. Are you aware of who I'm referring to then?
If you're referring to that crony sitting there and his fucking goons, yeah, sure, I'm acquainted. I know them. Their existence. The pests.
Alrighty, I will go back to my original question then. Were you involved in that ongoing feud?
For me to refer to it as a few would insinuate that they're my equals. They're not my equals. They're beneath me. They're like cockroaches. Would you feud with a cockroach? No, you'd step on it. Crush it. Right then and there. Be done with it.
All right.
There's a point of a lot of emotion for you, Mr. Costello?
If it's not apparent, yes, I despise them. They ruined my life. They've taken everything from me.
Okay, and how have they ruined your life?
First of all,
It's really hard to type while you're laughing.
Mr. K right there, using his bosom, managed to lure my blood brother Tinker to his side to suckle on his teeth. Tinker picked him over me. Like the Sith Lord he is, he took my brother from me first. That's where he started. And then he took my job after pestering me. No, I didn't.
I heard that too.
No, I think you said the other way around,
It was a
Mr. K.
it's a line from Shakespeare. You guys don't read it? Teeth, I said teeth, titties.
Suckle on
Double
his teeth.
Ds, booba.
So sucking on his titties.
Him suck.
This would
Doesn't
be
matter.
qualified for the record.
Doesn't matter. Moving on. He lured Tinker into his embrace, and then he proceeded to get me fired from my place of work after pestering me, getting kidnapped by him and his cronies every fucking other day, motherfucker. And I guess the smoke, which is forever, followed me to DOC, and now they got problems with me and the goods, I suppose. So yes, you'd be correct in that assessment.
Okay, were the defendants involved in this feud?
The defendants being?
Mr. el-Rahman and Mr. Almerion.
That'd be Ramee and Miguel, Carmine, to keep it simple for you.
Yes. Yes, they took part in making my life a living hell. Yes.
We got to keep it easy for Carmine.
Did they ever state their reasoning as to why they were doing this?
Ramee did. Insecurities.
So you're saying
Okay,
the defendant
what
is
the fuck?
insecure?
Yes, very much so.
Did he say what he was insecure about?
Objection, projecting.
His wife.
Hold on, Carmine. When there's an objection on the floor, you don't answer.
Excuse me?
Counselor Braun, you know that
Fuck you.
projecting
Yes.
isn't an objection. Is there one that you want to go with instead, or?
Yeah, I'll just go with narrative because he's like just telling his whole life story up there and see if that sticks.
My story is worth telling, Braun! And what they did to me.
Shut up,
right
Carmine.
here.
Shut up, Carmine. Nobody asked you to
Your
answer
Honor,
right now.
I asked a,
Yeah.
I asked a pretty simple question on if
Yeah,
someone ever stated what the insecurity was.
Question on the floor.
Alright.
So you're saying the defendant is insecure. I don't think that necessarily calls for a narrative. It's inherently a yes or no question. Carmine, you can answer in such a way.
He was afraid I was gonna Ramee 22 his ass.
Can you elaborate what a Ramee 22 is?
I'd rather not.
Objection, the witness is not responsive?
Yeah, I want to know what the meaning of that is.
Yo, Carmen, do tell, please.
I'm not. No.
Carmine, please.
Robbie,
I'll
Mr. Costello, please answer the question.
I'm not gonna answer the question.
A motion for contempt for this witness for not answering.
Mr. Costello, I will give you contempt if you don't answer the questions that are being asked of you.
Look how they treat this poor man.
He was
You
talking about starting up a podcast
Mr.
too. There you go. You happy? he screams small dick energy. What do you want from me? There you go. Am I good now? You got the answer.
Oh, what was
Have
the
you
name
ever
of the
con-
podcast gonna be? Just curious.
I don't fucking know.
Was it No Humper?
Sounds about right.
You claim the defendant has a small dick. Have you ever confirmed this?
No energy. It's a figure of speech. It means he's not that guy. He's
No,
not
it's
that
just-
guy.
All right, we'll move on.
Thank
That's
you.
crazy. Who
That
put that
is-
up there?
Your Honor, that's entered in the People's U, I think it is. I just thought it was relevant to the line of questioning, that's all.
Good God.
If I was Ramee, I'd just take the death sentence at this point.
Is that Ray Romanov?
Hey, come on. What about you?
Ramee,
All
you
right.
get turned on in court, bro. Come on.
This is the most necessary testimony I've ever heard in my life.
What? Come on. What about you roll the dice,
Come on, bro. You can't be
Go
getting
ahead.
fucking horny.
Wait, huh?
Huh?
Rami, you're getting roasted right now, but I'm not going to hear about that. I want to hear more about the charges against you.
Very
And
unorthodox.
with the understanding that this is,
Don't
you
tell me,
know,
Your Honor, I like that shit.
Oh my god.
Can we have it
So
entered into
it's
evidence
fucking
that
true.
the defendant has a
yes,
humiliation?
yes, it's
Okay.
it's entered into the
I'm
record.
just
Please,
kidding, Your Honor. I'm just kidding. No, please not
He
put
is
that on
a
record.
cuck.
it's too
Put
late.
it on his MDW now.
No, not on his MDW, but it's on this court's record. I have it written. I'll put it in bold.
We're
even.
happy to do a joint motion for that to be on his MDW, Your Honor, if the defense counsel wants that.
Look, it's in the court record. I'm not gonna put it on the MDW. That's not the appropriate place to put it, but you know, this court will forever remember, for better or worse, that Ramee el-Rahman has a humiliation kink. Please continue with your line of questioning pertaining to these charges, please.
Yeah, of course. Okay. How many times were you attacked by the, as you stated, that man over there and his goons?
Objection, Your Honor, leading.
Do I answer?
Put the bets on the sports book as well.
I'll hear a rebuttal.
Your Honor, it's
I-
not leading.
It's not. The foundation's been laid about the ongoing feud. She's just asking how many times he's been attacked. The foundation's already been laid for this. It's not leading. She's not putting the answer in his mouth. Carmine, you can answer the question.
Numerous times, countless times. A lot of times he's coming. A lot of times.
Okay. In what ways were you attacked?
This is good, chat. This is the vibe that we're looking for here.
Sorry, did you not hear my question?
Sorry, could you ask again? My apologies. I got
Yeah.
Yeah,
frustrated.
in what ways were you attacked, Carmine? Is the question.
There was this one time where he had this one room. He calls it the Splatoon.
Could you elaborate?
I don't want. He spit
Your Honor,
on me.
objection. Witness is not responsive.
He'd spit on me.
Your Honor, this is the prosecution's witness, so you know if she can't even control him, I don't know what hope we have.
Carmine, I'm gonna look at you and I'm gonna
What
say
the
this.
hell?
Who the hell said that?
Who said that?
Bobby, really, Bobby? Seriously?
Good God. Bobby, I don't know if you were here from the start, but I'm giving out 200 months and $20,000 in fines for contempt. So if that was you, I'd recommend not doing it again.
I'm clocking on duty after this.
My rebuttal about controlling my own witness. Unfortunately, it's Mr. Costello. I don't think anyone can control him. He's
All
like
right.
he's like that child you would have, and
All right,
kinda
hold
just
on.
forget about him.
Okay, I'm gonna put this in simple words for you, Mr. Costello.
Yes.
If you say something, be
Uh-huh.
prepared to explain it. If
Okay.
you don't, contempt. Is that understood?
What? The man's a freak. He's an animal. Well, I don't want to go on record having to say the things he did.
Then don't bring them up in your answers, sir.
Can I keep it vague and just say he's a bad person? He's a bad guy.
Oh, well, they can ask
Permission
further
to
questions
quote the
based on that,
people's
sir.
witness?
They can ask further questions based on your answers, sir, and you do have to
Okay.
answer them unless they're objected to or something to that effect. Please continue, counselor.
He car bombs my car. He does that a lot. I am now I go through a routine where I walk up to my car and I look at it for 5 minutes, and and I asked myself, do I want to get blown up today, or should I just walk? Maybe there's not a bomb in my car. But I should probably just walk, just to be sure. But it's so far. I don't want to go all the way over there and walk. And plus my car, such a nice car, should be used, driven in. But what if you put a bomb in my car? Then I go back inside my apartment and say, fuck it all. I'll try tomorrow.
And how many times has the defendant used explosives on your vehicle?
Every other day, I think.
For how long?
For Ramee, how long have you been blowing up my shit for? Sorry, what? He probably knows.
Never ever.
Carmine, you're answering the questions here. You don't get to ask the defendant questions to answer your question.
I can't give you a number.
Can we, Your Honor, I want to do a motion for like mandatory law training for Carmine following this. You know, he seems to be really confused how this works.
I'm not on trial.
I think it would be important as a corrections officer.
I'll offer a rebuttal that I'm not even certain that that Carmine finished the 8th grade. So I don't know what mandatory law training would do. Is he would either eat the books or it would go in one ear and out the other. So I don't want to mandate that and waste anybody's time. Okay. Carmine, just answer the damn questions.
All right, ask away. Wait, you just call me stupid?
Yes, Carmine. Yes, I did.
Anybody got food?
Asshole.
Yeah, I got you. I got some for you, Ramee, if you need it. Oh, you got some?
I say that's contempt. He called you an asshole, Judge.
Oh my God, the predator's here. Bro.
Please continue, Counselor. We're at how many?
Grade?
Thank you.
Did I what? Finish the 8th?
Mr. Casella, did you finish the 8th grade?
I was homeschooled.
Okay. All right. Thank you for answering that. And
what do you mean?
The negative. Alrighty. All right. Let's continue.
My father was a Harvard graduate, alumni. So
how did you beat the fuck up? Sorry, Your Honor. My bad.
It takes one to know one.
Ramee, please don't worry. You'll get plenty of chances to ask questions here in just a moment, sir.
It's gonna be beautiful, Your Honor.
It's gonna be fantastic.
Okay. Where were you during the events of the People's N? These are the bombings of the STSO and MRPD.
The SDSO, is that when I was told to go in to defuse it? I tried to be a hero, but I walked out like Gus Fring. You know that one scene? The guy in the wheelchair who goes tick, tick, tick. And Gus walks out, half his face blown off. Where I did that, I reenacted that to the T, but I didn't collapse because I ain't a bitch like Gus Fring. Yeah, I remember that.
I have a question from the bench. Gus Fring or Harvey Dent, Carmine?
But Gus Fring.
Okay. Please continue, Counselor.
Because I'm not crazy.
How did you arrive at the SDSO?
I was called there.
By whom?
By Mr. K.
Okay, and what was the reason you were called there for?
At the time, I was poor, impoverished, so I figured I needed some money, and nobody else would pick up. And I figured, what's the worst that could happen? What, he tries to blow me up in my car again? So I took a gamble and called him and asked him for $500,000. I should have realized he was fucking with me when he said yes. He never says yes. He told me to meet him at Sandy Shores, so I head over there to meet him.
All right, and
thank you, everybody, so much for the
at any
follows and
point did
everything
you
as well.
enter the SDSO?
No, the door was locked as soon as I got there.
Did you have any prior knowledge of the explosive?
I found out about what I thought was a bomb, what turned out to be a bomb, as soon as I got there, because I heard the ticking. I heard it ticking away. It was ticking, it was.
So to confirm, you didn't have any knowledge prior to that regarding the explosive?
No, none whatsoever.
Okay. And you stated that you were there when the explosion went off, is that correct?
Yes, I was there. I was there when it went off.
Alrighty. And following the explosion, what happened?
I walk away with shrapnel in my face. He's there, Mr. K. The commissioner's there. So is Bison and Tessa. And they put
Thank
me
you,
in
everybody, for your
cuffs.
follows.
Because this dumbass is screaming it was me who did it.
Could you specify who is this dumbass?
Mr. K.
Okay.
You're the dumbass.
Don't shoot.
Mr. K, I know he called you a
Alright,
dumbass, so I'll
alright,
give you a little bit of
alright.
leeway here, but let's limit the outbursts. Don't stoop down to his level, Mr. K.
True, I'm above him. You're right.
Thank you.
It's true.
Alrighty. In the People's End, there are 3 911s that mention your name. Are you aware of this?
No, they locked me in a jail cell. I wasn't told anything. I know nothing. I found out the commissioner died 2 days after he died.
Okay. And where were you when the explosion at MRPD happened?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know when it happened. Nobody told me nothing. All I know is that he died. The last person's face he saw was that man right there. He should be on trial.
Well, we have defendants here of Mr. el-Rahman and Mr. Almerion, but we're going to continue as such. So these 3 911s mention your name, asking for your release. Do you have any individuals you're close to who would have done this?
With all due respect, I'm probably the most hated person in Los Santos. You think someone will go out of their way to cause mass harm and devastation just to free me? They'll probably do the opposite, if I'm being frank.
And what would the opposite be?
Blow up the precinct I'm in.
That's true.
Right. And during that ongoing feud that was formally mentioned, was there any cases where individuals tried to pass off as your friends?
No.
Okay. And just to confirm, based on what you're saying regarding how you're that, again, just for the record, the most hated man in the city, is your assertion that someone is posing as one of your friends?
Maybe. I can't answer that definitively.
Okay. Alrighty. And just to confirm, you said you were in custody during the MRPD bombing. Would it have been possible at all for you to plant that bomb?
I'm not saying I did, but I wish I had the skill set to pull something off like that.
Okay. And just to confirm, when you arrived at SDSO, the bomb was already planted?
Yes, it was already planted.
And who were you with when you arrived?
I was with Red Harrington.
What the fuck?
I'll defer to my co-counsel.
I can't think of any relevant questions that wouldn't just be trolling Carmine, Your Honor, so I'll pass the witness.
Yeah, this has been really
You're up,
eye-opening. Don't bully him too much.
Hey, Carmine, how you doing today?
Do I have to address him, Your Honor?
Yes, you do. You're on the stand.
Today's a good day for me. Today's a really good day for me.
Why is that?
All things considered. Why is it a good day for me?
Yes.
Just, I woke up on the right side of the bed.
Carmen, I got a question for you. You, the very first question Odessa here, the prosecutor asked you was, what is your name? You said that you were Carmine Costello, former commander of DOC. Is that right?
No. I did not say that. I said the Unified Police Force.
You never said commander of DOC.
No, didn't say the commander DOC.
Right, Your Honor. I would like to state that I have it in my notes here that he specifically said.
Well, your
Commander
notes are
of
wrong.
DOC.
Hold on,
You're
pause.
wrong. You ain't got the answers, Ron.
Good thing I
You
have.
ain't got the answers.
Ramee, good thing I have very detailed notes here. She asked his name and rank. His exact answer is, quote, my name is Carmine Costello, third of my name, former commander of the UPD, guard of the DOC, and former member of the DPD.
It's okay.
I do
It's
stop.
okay. It's okay. We're getting started. We're just getting
I
started.
do.
Carmine, don't worry.
He also stated he does stocks on the side.
Here for a second.
Right.
Are you sweating? Or is that drool coming
Not at
down
all.
your face?
Not at all. Not at all. Now you said that the chain gang or the defendants here, or however you want to call them, were cockroaches, correct?
I'd like to rephrase that. Can I rephrase it?
Sure, go ahead.
Referring to you peons as cockroaches is disrespectful to cockroaches. You're beneath cockroaches. Cockroaches step on you. You're a cockroach's cockroach.
Okay. Okay. All right. Why is that, Carmine?
Cause you some low down motherfuckers. That's all there is to it. You're bad people.
Why are we bad people? What makes you think we are bad people?
Oh my God, this is.
Cause
he's really doing this.
I don't know, you just are. I can't. You're just bad people.
So you have no reason to call us bad people.
I have plenty of reason.
But you're not explaining it though.
You can't control your bodily fluids. I mean, spit. Not other.
That makes me a peon and a cockroach below cockroaches.
Yes. That's my opinion. And frankly, I'm gonna say it. Carmela's too good for you.
Okay, we'll get to that. Don't worry. We'll get to that. Don't worry. We'll get to that. Don't worry.
Oh
so
my
you
God.
said that Mr. K precisely has taken everything from you and he got you fired. Yada yada yada. Correct?
Yes, I said that.
How did he get you fired?
This is actually a
Targeted
smart strategy.
incrimination.
Targeted
Explain.
incrimination.
Recording fake recordings.
Excuse me?
What?
This is on the record.
So
Defamation, slander. Just
you gotta explain here more. You know, there needs to you gotta let's go in depth. Let's go into it. Come on, let's hear it.
what do you want to hear?
You said fake recordings. How did he? What did he do to give you a fake recording? Or you mind explain that to the people of the courts?
I don't want to bring that into scope.
I'm cross-examining your statement from what you give to the prosecutor.
Carmine, remember that thing
Huh?
I told you like 8 to
What?
10 minutes ago about, if you
Okay,
don't.
all right. Okay.
When you mention things, you have to be ready to explain them.
He tied me up in a dark room, pointed a gun to my head, and told me to say things. He said it turned him on. That's the truth. You were there for some of them. You know this.
So, really? Tied you up in a dark
Yeah.
room. Now, this was like an everyday thing, or this was once in a while? Explain.
Once every couple days, like maybe 2 or 3 times a week. Yeah.
Okay. So you have a deep hatred for Mr. K and his friends.
Deep hatred?
Yeah. Deep hatred. You would love to see
Thank
me
you everybody for the follows.
die by
Appreciate it.
execution tonight.
What's that got to do with anything?
I'm asking you a
more
question.
prejudicial.
Hold on.
Objection more prejudicial than probative.
The answer's
Yeah, I'm
Your Honor, you
gonna.
just answered the question.
I understand that. I'm gonna strike it
Yeah,
from
he
the
said
record.
yes.
Okay.
Fuck your homies dead. Fuck your homies dead.
The
Fuck
answer
your
and the
homies dead.
objection were basically.
Your Honor, if I can let me ask. Can I ask a
Counselor, I
question?
can't stop your witness from just saying that shit.
I'm not saying anything.
Now,
Your Honor, in all fairness, Carmine did say he wanted to crush them like a bug in his original statement.
That is duly noted for the record.
Now,
Now, I will say, I'm going to step in here real quick. As much as, deep diving and examining this feud is moderately relevant, let's try and turn back towards the charges if possible.
Your Honor, Okay.
Your Honor, the people have no objection to Ramee continuing to roast Carmine.
Fair
No,
enough.
I'm not roasting
nothing.
Carmine. I'm building
Attempting to roast.
a. Yeah, can I have a sidebar here, Your Honor, really quick? I just.
A
Yeah,
sidebar?
yeah, you
All right,
do
yeah,
that.
we'll take a
Yeah,
sidebar.
you need that.
Carmine,
Yeah,
you
you
stay
need
there.
that.
We'll go off to the side.
I'm too much for you, little guy.
Your Honor, I'm trying to paint a
fella.
picture. That
Carmine,
just-
shut up.
I'm trying to paint a picture here, Your Honor, that he's very biased to the fucking courts.
I get it.
Credibility, Your Honor.
Credibility. He's
I get
very
it.
biased.
Your
You know,
Honor,
his
if,
judgment is clouded.
if I may, the only things that the people care about is one, that he was in custody, and two, that phone call happened. That's all established by
I'm
other
building up to
affidavits
that.
and witnesses, so we don't really care what Ramee asks.
I'm building up to that, Your Honor.
Okay. Get there.
Cooking.
Cook and get there.
You cooking right now?
Cook and get there.
You're like the one guy in your gang that you're okay in my book. You're not like I like you. You're not like those other. You're not like
All
those
right.
other girls.
Now, Carmine.
Please continue.
You said that Mr. K is the leader of the chain gang, correct?
Objection, misstatement of testimony.
Really?
I was the lead.
I don't
briefly,
show
that was
anything
my next question.
that shows that he stated anything about Mr. K being the leader specifically. He just referred to Mr. K and his cronies.
Okay, right. Carmine, were you ever leader of the chain gang?
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
God.
I was the leader, and I made all these bitches bend the knee to me. Yes.
Oh my God.
I made him say "Hail Carmine" 3 times. We changed the name of the cubby to the Castellabi. I made them my bitches for a day. They made me food. They got me a nice car, but they blew me up in it.
So you are attesting to the fact that you made a group of people do things against the law, correct?
What? No. Swearing allegiance to me doesn't mean I didn't make you do nothing bad. I just made you my cronies.
What does that mean?
In layman terms, I made you my bitch.
Okay. Okay.
Go
And you
pray
were-
day.
Okay. So
Okay.
let's fast forward this.
I'm not done. I'm not done. I'm not done.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You guys notice how he didn't get me for perjury? It's true. He knows it's true. This happened. Let it be known to everybody. I was there Hefe once. That's all.
Okay. But let's fast forward this cross-examination here.
Thank you, please, Ramee.
And let's get to the your car, right? You said that your car had multiple car bombs on it, correct?
Sometimes it would be your cars.
Excuse me?
Sometimes you'd use your own cars. You'd give me gifts and say, "Hey, Carmine, take this."
Carmine, do you own a vehicle in the city of Los Santos?
Yes, I do.
Which one is it?
I own a decommissioned Taurus.
Okay, so you're not allowed to drive that around, correct?
One time I used it to pitch you at.
Okay, so when
100
you
foot.
said that your cars got car
Huh?
bombed, you don't have a car, right? So you rent cars every day, isn't that correct?
I do rent cars, but not every day.
Okay.
I get what they're getting at here.
All right, let's fast forward this. So you said that you never stepped foot into the SDSO, correct? On that day of that bombing, right?
Yes, I said that.
Okay, and then you said that you heard the beeping of the bomb, correct?
Yes, I heard that.
Okay, and then the explosion went off, correct?
Yeah, that did happen.
Okay, so I just want to let it be known in the courts, Your Honor, that he never stepped foot into the building. He was in the perimeter of the building.
Already got that noted for the record, Council.
Now, you
Mr.
said
el-Rahman.
that after the explosion went off, you saw Mr. K, Bison, and Tessa, correct?
Yes, I did.
So that means you did not see me at the SDSO building, correct?
Yes, I didn't see you at the
Hey, Your
SDSO
Honor.
building.
Sure, what's up?
Sorry. There was a misstatement or an issue with our notes. We're good. Sorry. I was gonna
Understood.
Object to a certain point. Yep.
Yep, thank you. Objections withdrawn.
I'm going to ask it one more time. You did not see me at SDSO the day of the explosion, correct?
Didn't
Would
type
a
that fast.
spit trail
It
count?
happens.
I'm joking. No, I didn't see him. I didn't see him at the SDSO.
You did not, right?
I did not. I did not.
No, he did
Okay.
not.
I did
Okay.
not.
All right. That is all, Your Honor. I'll leave the next question to Murphy.
Murphy, you got anything you want to join in on this dog pile?
Actually, my line of questioning, believe it or not, Ramee covered, so we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna question the bias and all that. So.
All right. Good on you, Mr. Spectre. Redirect from the prosecution.
Your Honor, of course.
Prosecution, anything on redirect or? Okay.
I just got like one single question.
Sure.
He's gonna talk shit about me, Bundy.
No, I'm not, Carmine. You should know me better than that. Carmine, if you could plant a bomb at any location in Los Santos, where would you plant it?
And it was legal for a day.
Sure, for the hypothetical.
This will not
purposes.
incriminate me, will it?
I hope not.
No surprise terrorism, Jack in the Boxes.
No, we don't do
Oh.
thought crimes.
The answer's I'll bomb the shit out of that compound.
Okay, so the CG
Every
copy is that right?
day!
So
Yes.
your former home turf and headquarters, correct?
Wait, what the hell?
That's it. He used to be a leader of the gang.
I can piece that together, Mr. el-Rahman.
Okay.
All right, so that's all I've got for Carmine, Your Honor.
All right, cool.
I figured that would be the answer.
I think that's it for them for now, Carmine. Braun, is he marked for redirect for recall?
No, I think between the three of us, we've established that he has a bias against Chain Gang, so I think we're good with Carmine.
Okay.
On that
Okay. Carmine, you're free to go.
I can leave.
Yeah. Have a nice night, buddy. Stay safe.
Thank you, Carmine.
Stay safe, Carmine.
You're a sick animal.
All right. Prosecution, you any additional witnesses at this time?
Yeah, Sergeant Aaron Bison.
Oh God, the vibes. Oh fuck, the vibes.
Your Honor, we would like it noted for the court record that Sergeant Bison is the runner-up for the 2023 Vibe Killer of the Year in PD.
Second only to Bloom, correct?
Vibe killer.
No, actually second to Harvey Holden.
Oh Jesus. Okay, I believe that.
Is Harvey here? We should have him do his impression of Hayes. No, it's great.
No, I don't want to hear that ever again. Go ahead and swear the witness on, please.
Okay, raise your left hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury, so help you Han?
I do.
Your Honor, the witness has been sworn in.
Baron Counselor, the floor is yours for this witness.
Alrighty. Please state your name and right for the record.
Sergeant Aaron Bison, LSPD, God of War.
Alrighty,
Recently, father of the deceased.
Alrighty. And do you have any specialties in the UPD?
I'm a shooter. I'm a driver. I'm a scene leader. I'm an EOD head lead.
For the court's record, can you explain what EOD is?
Explosive ordnance disposal. Essentially, if there's a bomb involved or any kind of explosive, then the EOD certified individuals will go in and handle the situation.
Okay. And were you on duty on the 12th of July?
Yeah.
Were you involved in the incidents of the People's N as in November? These are the bombing of the SDSO and MRPD.
Thank you for the follows, everybody. Appreciate it. If you haven't dropped one already, go ahead and do so. Appreciate you guys' support. Also, check your primes.
1 second.
Any support goes to making the stream better and providing this quality entertainment while they think on the answer to this question. Hit those buttons. Primers, subs, donations, send me to TwitchCon. What? Hey, man. Do whatever. It's all love and it's all
1 second,
appreciated.
I got a bingo card. 1 moment.
Please let that be Carmine.
Why the fuck wasn't I given a bingo card?
I don't know.
God
I just
damn
need
it.
Big D to show up and I have bingo.
Thank you, everybody, for the follows. I appreciate it.
I don't know. It's not popping up in my fucking reports.
Oh, well,
And I don't see it on the I see it on the docket, but I can't like look at the report itself because it's still sealed.
I don't have the
looking at
fucking bingo card.
investigative
I'm
reports,
just
not
taking
recent?
notes.
That might be why I don't have access to that then.
I'm gonna airdrop a
Oh, I found
copy
it.
to the
I got it.
witness.
I got it.
Okay. There
Yeah,
we
I
go.
got it. Okay. Yeah, I was there.
Thank you, everybody, for follows.
I was there.
And
yes.
all the love and support. It's all appreciated.
Perfect.
Check primes,
Alrighty,
check subs. Appreciate it.
Were you at the SDSO?
Yeah,
Okay, and how did you arrive there?
I drove.
Okay, and why did you go to the SDSO?
There was a bomb threat called in.
Could you elaborate on how you specifically would be called for this?
I can't remember if it was a 911 call, like somebody 311 or 911 over dispatch. Due to I was at an ongoing call and I had to break off of it because somebody 311 or 911 for a bomb threat and needed a member of EOD to show up.
Okay, and did you attempt to defuse this bomb?
No, not the SDS one.
Okay, and what was the reasoning for that?
By the time I got on scene, I looked at the bomb and I had about a minute and a half left. I said, I'm going to try to defuse it, get everybody away from the PD or the sheriff's office, at which point Baas told me not to touch it because he has info and he was talking to people, so I didn't do anything to it. And then I had 30 seconds left and I said, Baas, if you don't get somebody over here right now, it's going to blow up. And then at which point, by the time he finally got back to me, it was about 15 seconds left. So I said, all right, this is just going to have to blow up. I can't do anything about this. And then I got off the roof.
Alrighty. Just to confirm, you told people to get to safety.
Interesting.
Did you take any other safety measures?
I put barriers around the bomb. I told people to get away. That's about it.
Okay.
I told officers not to let anybody near the sheriff's office.
Okay, and were you there when the bomb exploded?
Yeah, I was right across the street when it went off.
Okay, and what was the damage?
Oh my god. The roof caved in, windows smashed, doors non-existent, dust everywhere, explosive residue all over the walls. Offices unrecognizable. Entire place just caved in.
Alrighty. And after the explosion at the SDSO, what did you do?
I immediately I noticed that there were 911s stating Carmine was taken into custody for questioning, and then immediately after 911 started going out saying, give us Carmine or there'll be another bomb. I thought I muted that. Give me a second, sorry.
It's going to be EMS. They unfortunately are not able to.
Oh, it
to
sounds
mute
like it's
here.
coming from my radio. Okay, go ahead, sorry.
Was that the end of your answer?
While I was getting 911 calls, oh yeah, there it is. Hey, there's a picture of it right there.
Perfect.
That's a good picture, actually.
Could you elaborate on those 911s?
Yeah, they were stating. I believe Carmine was in custody for questioning at this point. The dumbass decided to go run up to the sheriff's office to, in quotes, try to defuse it. It blew up before he even walked in the front door, and he walked away like he actually did something, which he did nothing, as per usual. So they took him into custody because it was believed that he was the one to have a play or a hand in planting the bomb. But while he was in custody, another bomb was planted at Mission Road PD, and I was called to go over there.
Okay.
Thank you again, everybody, for all the follows. I do appreciate it.
Did you attempt to protect people from this explosive?
Yeah, I told everybody to get at least a block away from the PD. If they were inside the PD, they were to get out of the PD. Nobody was allowed in or out. I believe there was one. Sorry, let me think for a second. Okay, yeah, I believe there was one EOD person and one. I think Sergeant Lane was there. I don't remember who the EOD person was. It wasn't me, but it was somebody else. They went up and they cleared out MRPD to look for the bomb. They found it. I told them to get out, and then I went up to the roof to attempt to defuse it.
Okay, and was anyone helping you defuse the bomb?
No.
Alrighty, was anyone else there with you when you were attempting to defuse the bomb?
Yeah, Kay and Baas were.
Okay, and what was Commissioner Bass's role in being there?
I was in the middle of trying to figure out the bomb, and Bass says, wait, I have somebody coming. They're going to help defuse the bomb. And I said, you better hurry the fuck up. It's got less than 2 minutes left. and then he comes up there with Kay, and then I was like, Kay, what fucking color is it? And Kay just walks around me, walks around me, goes up to Bass and said, at least we're gonna go out together, and then hugged him. Bass screamed, Kay, what the fuck? And I said, all right, I guess I'm gonna have to do this. I guessed the color right, and I was only 1 square off from defusing before it went off.
So to confirm,
square?
Yeah, it's like a. Sorry.
So to confirm, Mr. K did not provide any insight for defusing this bomb.
No.
Okay. So you stated Mr. K said something. Did Commissioner Bass say anything prior to the explosion going off?
Yeah, he just said, I'm bringing Kay up. He said he knows what the color is or like what to do, and I said okay. And then I said, Kay, what's the color? And then Kay hugged Bass and said, well, at least we're gonna go out together. And Bass just said, Kay, what the fuck? And then like screamed it.
Alrighty. Let me see if my co-counsel has anything.
Okay.
Interesting. So we're not would it roll? Man, I don't mind taking my own notes. I have inherent trust issues for other people. I like to make a reference to my own notes personally. I don't mind doing it. Clearly, I can. So, with something like this, you know, I'd have to like super trust the person, right? Thank you, everybody, so much again for your follows. I do appreciate it. Well, that be the stenographers for the court record, yeah.
All right, your statement in the People's N states that you were the one to take Carmine into custody. Is this correct?
Did the statement say that? Oh yeah. I put him in handcuffs and I handed him off to somebody else on SDSO.
Okay, so to confirm, Carmine was in custody during this time.
Yeah, he was in custody. He was in a cell being interrogated. I believe it was by it was by Kovacic because Carmine had to go to the hospital for something, and Kovacic met him there because of the 911 that came in about the other bomb, so I had to leave the hospital.
Okay, and so was Carmine in custody at the time of the explosion?
I believe
explosion?
so. Yeah, I believe so.
Alrighty, I have no further questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Knight, Bundy, anything further?
No, we're good, Your Honor.
Okay. Counselor Braun or Mr. el-Rahman? Any questions for this witness?
For me, Your Honor.
I can't really think of
Actually,
any.
I do have one.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, don't apologize. If you have one, go for it.
Bison, did you see me at Mission Road PD?
Good question.
You specifically? No.
All right, that's all, Your Honor.
You know, someone's gotta remember Miguel here.
Oh yeah.
Did you
I
see
just-
Miguel?
Oh, yeah, fuck.
Did you see Miguel at
I've
the
had-
same place?
No.
Very well.
Okay. Is that it on cross-examination?
That is all.
All right.
That
Any
is all
reader
for Bison.
Any redirect
No
from the
redirect.
state? Okay.
No, we're good.
All right, Bison, you can go and step down. Is he marked
being
for
recalled?
recall?
No.
No, thank you.
Man, what the fuck?
All right,
Every time
Bison,
he calls a
you're
witness, I never get recalled.
Bison,
No.
you can stay, you can go, you can do whatever the hell you need to do.
I'm playing Half-Life on the laptop. I'll hang out.
Okay.
Your
Prosecution.
Honor, yeah,
Go on.
we're done with witnesses. We're gonna just lump our evidence in with closing, as to not overburden the court with taking up too much time. So the
Sure.
prosecution rests.
Sounds good. With that, with the prosecution resting, it would turn over to the defense. We have been going for about 2 hours at this point. Does anybody need a brief recess to kind of get up, stretch the legs, anything like that?
Do we need
Prosecution's
like a
fine, Your
little type 5 bathroom break kind of thing?
I'll give everyone a tight 5. We'll go and call this back into session at 5 after the hour.
5 after?
The tight 5.
I'm gonna go pee in the judges' chambers.
If anyone needs food, let me know. I got some.
I don't have any of it.
Oh, sure, yeah, I can do that. Give me a second. Thank you, everybody, again for your follows. This has been going really well so far, I think, in my opinion.
And there's a few pieces there. Let me know if you need more.
What?
Yeah.
Ramee
didn't do nothing wrong. Let him go.
Oh, I do. Yep.
That's what I'm saying, Mary. That's what I'm saying.
There you go.
I support Ramee.
I appreciate it, dogs. I appreciate it.
Hey, what's up?
So, like, I'm trying to film this for LSBN, well, for news coverage, or if anybody ever needs anything, and just everyone will not shut the fuck up, like, everywhere. It's getting really aggravating. Like, my footage is being compromised. I'm hearing defense strategies because people are talking too loud. I heard prosecution strategies when I moved. I'm trying not to film any of that stuff, and then I got everybody in the fucking petty box, you know, pettying. As always. Is there a, I don't know, is there a way you could ask to keep the chatter down?
I mean, people do have to speak to things. Hello?
Hi. No, I'm not really.
Can I help you, sir?
I'm Ramee.
You're not Ramee. Ramee's literally here.
I'm right here.
No, Ramee is actually here. Do you mind?
No,
I'm trying to have a
actually here.
Okay, no, you're not actually there. You're not actually Ramee.
Pushes you out of my way.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
I gotta talk to you about another case here real quick.
It's honestly more of the petty box than anything else. Like,
I'll remind people, obviously, you know, if they're keeping it at a dull whisper, there's not really a whole lot I can do. I can't expect people to just sit on their fucking thumbs for hours at a time.
Well, yeah.
You know, I don't know if maybe being up front here on the right corner would help you at all. If it might be a little bit, yeah, by the TV, if that'd be a little bit quieter for you.
I tried that, and then I was picking up prosecution, which I don't want to do because I don't want anyone to ever say that I gave anything away to either side as a member of the press. You know,
I'll just kind of remind everyone to keep it down. But you know, obviously.
Yeah, I know. I know.
That's
just,
why
it's more
that's
of a,
why
I
he
would
chose
like
the
to
wrong square.
Because I
Oh
feel
my
like
God,
everyone's
we
just
got
getting
it.
No.
more chatty the longer it goes on.
Yeah, that's not an issue. Not an issue. We'll do that. That's fine.
Yeah, I might just get closer to the witness stand then, just to make it easier. All right.
All right.
I just
Sounds
wanted
good.
to let you know that I'm not trying to be like an annoying Karen about it. It's just it's footage for news.
What's up, dude?
Right on. Perfect.
Yeah, sorry.
I
I'll let
won't.
you guys get back to it.
we're
You're
just
good.
sitting here talking about-
Jerry, how you doing? I didn't get a chance to say hello to you before the case.
I'm doing all right. Just watching.
Just watching. Okay.
You know it's going. Yeah.
It's definitely going. It's definitely going. There's a shitload of evidence in this that's sealed and everything, so I just sent a copy over to Stout.
I didn't hear what you said.
We figured out.
What's up?
I didn't get a copy. You just gave me the agreement they signed.
Oh.
wanted to take Baas out and be commissioner yourself.
I'm sorry, what was that, Titus? I can barely hear you over the gallery.
Yeah, I know. Come here.
What's up?
I only do this if you're Brian just made a request of me. He asked if you could help him out with. He wants to do, you know, like the prank, make fun of someone and then follow up with a promotion gig that the PD does all the time. He was wondering if you could help him out do that in the middle of this case.
Who's the person?
After. Scully, she is sitting at the desk right now with the red hair. And he's wondering if you could, like, give her a hard time. What the hell are you doing here? You're not part of it. And then, like, send her get changed into a detective vest.
Okay. I can do that.
Right? Yeah, I was like, he asked if I would do it, and if you weren't comfortable, I'm like,
No,
I'm gonna ask
I'll,
you to do it. So yeah.
I'll call her out and talk a little shit.
Perfect.
Man, that's not a bad deal.
Hey, we're looking at right about time here. Hey. Hey, cut the shit out over there.
Fight.
What is going on?
Fight. Yeah.
Somebody insists that that person in the black turtleneck and mask is just assaulted the commissioner.
Commissioner, what the fuck?
You gonna let that guy wear a mask in the
They're about to get a lot more than that, Jerry.
Step away from the man on the ground.
Step away.
Play the death metal music and let's mosh.
Hey, not Ramee. That's running away. Come back. Turn around. Right. Well.
Commissioner punched fake Ramee. and now they're gonna arrest fake Ramee.
Yeah.
But why is real Ramee like acting?
Too much violence is justified.
Okay. Okay.
If they're brought back, I'll make them identify themselves. We're gonna come back into session here if we want to get back into position, everybody.
Beautiful.
I'll go ahead and hit the gavel here.
Can y'all sit the fuck down, please?
Okay. Defense. Do you have any witnesses you'll be calling at this time?
I don't believe either of the defendants wish to take the stand. Could I just get a confirmation of that from both of you? All right.
Okay. Would you prefer to highlight evidence under this time, Counselor Brown? Or
I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah, just
All right. Yeah. They're not taking the stand, Your Honor.
Okay. Then Counselor Braun, would you like to go ahead and highlight evidence at this time?
If they're gonna load it into their closing, I want to hear theirs before I show them mine. So
Okay.
just get to them first.
Very well. If neither defendant is going to testify at this time, you're gonna go ahead and lump your evidence into your closing. That leaves me with a question for the courts. How are we on closings? Are they ready? Do you need time? What are we looking at here?
People are okay, Your Honor.
I'm ready.
My life is on the line here, Murph.
Okay. In that case, I suppose we just move straight to closing. Prosecution, you're ready to go. Go ahead and go first.
All right.
Here we go. This is the track meet chat. This is the long part.
Flip another correct page here. All right. Let me know when you are ready, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor, and people of the court. The foundation of this case began to cement on June 12th, 2023. Carmine Gallo, whose name appears at the center of this investigation multiple times, became the target of the Chang Gang, which I'm just going to say CG from this point forward. Specifically, Mr. K, Mr. Kevin, and Ramee el-Rahman began a series of orchestrated and escalating attacks against Mr. Costello's colleagues at the Department of Corrections. The People's A on June 25th, 2023, Bob Eagle was kidnapped alongside Mr. Costello. Mr. Costello was subjected to a, quote, surprise surgery using a, quote, medical Beretta 9mm to, quote, revive him during the kidnapping. Both victims were abandoned outside of Bolingbrook, and admittedly, no suspects were directly identified. However, investigators have narrowed in on this incident as the start. The People's B, June 27th, 2023. Mr. Costello was transported to jail on contempt charges. DOC officers, along with members of the Unified Police Department, reported that Mr. K broke into and subsequently out of prison when he was then shot down through the course of felony trespassing. Defendant Ramee el-Rahman was then witnessed by the UPD fleeing on foot and utilizing a grapple gun. And we're going to hone in on that, utilizing a grapple gun. A common theme for defendant Ramee. Ramee was subsequently shot down, found to have a grapple gun, handcuffs, and a phone dongle on his person. The People C, June 28th, 2023, Mr. K and Mr. Costello were both subject to an investigation in the prison in which the DOC officers indicated that Mr. K had returned to the prison following his release and, quote, shot a member of DOC in the chest in the front lobby of the visitation center. The victim of that attack, DOC Correctional Officer Bobby Charles, stated that Mr. K told him, quote, never stay too close to the windows before shooting him. The People's E, June 29th, 2023, UPD officers responded to distress calls at Bolingbrook and found Mr. Costello, Mr. Charles, and other correctional officers injured, with Mr. K and defendant Ramee on scene. The statement of correctional officers indicated that a confrontation arose between Mama and Mr. Costello, at which time Mr. K withdrew a hammer and started swinging, and Ramee entered the room with a katana, slicing at Mr. Charles and Mr. Costello. The same day, People's F officers responded to another distress call from correctional officers indicating that defendant Ramee had held Mr. Costello hostage inside of the prison and was negotiating for a lower prison sentence. Defendant Ramee was witnessed by guards taking a call from individuals he referred to as Mr. K, and then Mr. K was identified by officers using a grapple gun to enter Bolingbrook. People's F, June 30th, 2023, that's when things escalated. Mr. Costello and Mr. K entered into a conflict. Mr. Costello was found at the Chain Gang Cubby in Little Seoul when Mr. K called Commissioner Sam Baas to mediate the conflict between the two. This ended in tragedy as Mr. Costello twatted an image from the top of the Elysian Fields Bridge stating it was the, quote, winner POV, while Mr. K and Commissioner Baas were found in critical condition below the bridge. Later that same day, the UPD responded to a call documented in the People's G indicating that Eugene Zuckerberg, another affiliate of CG, had also broken into prison. Upon arrival, an officer was confronted by a man in a black suit with chest armor who poured gasoline all over their vehicle and ignited it, instructing officers to, quote, stop following them. The reporting officer indicated not only that this individual sounded like Mr. K, but that a vehicle registered to Mr. K was located very nearby. July 2nd, 2023, the People's J, 10 days before the incident that we're here for today. Things escalated once again when Bobby Charles of the DOC indicated that 5 to 6 individuals approached him and started making rattlesnake noises, striking him with a sledgehammer. July 6th, 2023, as documented in the People's K, officers of the UPD located Mr. Costello and 2 other guards heavily burnt with spent casings of an RPG on the ground nearby. Correctional officer statements, specifically from Officer Charles, indicated, correctional officer statements indicated that Officer Charles had previously waterboarded Mr. K and that Mr. K had a vendetta against both CO Charles and CO Costello. When CO Gold arrived at Bolingbrook, a Humvee car was driving around the prison. Gold approached Costello, at which time he was taken hostage, flown into the sky with a helicopter, and pushed to the ground. And finally, July 12th, 2023, the People's M, hours prior to the first explosions at SDSO and MRPD. Mr. Costello was getting married to France Gall. Not a marriage of love, but infatuation of a vehicle that Miss Gall apparently owns, that Mr. Costello wanted. France Gall texted Mr. K the location of the wedding, and during the ceremony, 3 women, 2 who were directly identified as Rosa Garcia and Carmela Corset, both affiliated with CG, approached Miss Gall, pulled her to the side, and then the church exploded mysteriously, injuring everyone near the front of the church closest to Mr. Costello, including Mr. Costello himself.
That's interesting. If I would have known that beforehand, I wouldn't let Rosa
direct
sit there.
Responsibility for the crimes that were present for him. What it does suggest, however, is motive. It demonstrates an ongoing and escalating cycle of violence between members of CG, including defendant Ramee and Mr. Costello, beginning with simple kidnappings, attacks with blunt and melee instrumentations, and culminating in bombings. Now, to piece the evidence of July 12, 2023 through July 14th together. The primary report, the People's End, documents the series of events on the night of July 12th. Noted by Deputy Bayo, at the time the bomb was planted, Mr. K was being interviewed by Commissioner Sam Baas at the SDSO. To quote, Mr. Kevin took a phone call with Carmine in front of Baas and Bayo talking about $200,000 to $500,000 loan and RPGs. This is corroborated by the affidavit of Red Harrington and the testimony of Mr. Costello. Mr. Costello was being driven by Harrington throughout the day, spent all of his money at the casino, and was in desperate need of a loan. Despite their conflict, Mr. Costello calls Mr. K asking for money, quoting the devil you know in the interview that we took with him. They travel to the SDSO with the intent of getting a loan from Mr. K. Around this time, Sergeant Shelby Lane was clocking on duty. Approximately 0200 UTC. She's running to the Sonora Desert Sheriff's Office to clock on duty, and she witnesses 2 blacked out suspects grappling from the SDSO building and getting into a black and colored vehicle. As soon as the suspects begin running to the car, Lane hears beeping coming from the SDSO that sounds similar to a bomb. Around the same time, Detective Aurora Rain is approaching the SDSO for vehicle maintenance prior to the bomb being reported via 311, 911, or radio traffic. To quote her report, while approaching the SDSO, a large black hellish-looking truck frequently seen at the Changaloa compound was on the northwest corner of the SDSO. An individual dressed in black with a katana on his back who resembled Ramee el-Rahman was seen jumping down from the roof of the SDSO and jumped into the black truck and left the area. Thus, 2 officers obtained partial identification of suspects unknown and or Mr. el-Rahman on the scene, an identification further enforced and supported by later evidence. After the bomb was reported, multiple units arrived on scene. Game Warden Tessa Lamb, Sergeant Aaron Bison, Sergeant Brian Knight, myself, Senior Ranger Bundy, and Corporal Mike Bayo. Mr. Costello arrives on scene along with Red Harrington as the units scramble to the scene and start to gain control of it. Mr. Costello offers to defuse the bomb for money, which he had discussed with Mr. K on the phone, and Carmine and Harrington are both detained by Tessa Lamb and Sergeant Bison. Sergeant Bison arrives with his ride-along, ultimately locating the bomb on the roof, discovering that it only had a minute and a half remaining prior to detonation. Commissioner Baas indicates that Costello was going to defuse the bomb, but Sergeant Bison advised that they leave the bomb to detonate because there's not enough time by the time this decision gets made. Commissioner Baas orders Costello to be released from detention to attempt to defuse the bomb, but as he approaches, the bomb detonates. Mr. Costello is then transported to Sandy Shores Medical for treatment, detained by Sergeant Bison and Game Warden Lamb, and Mr. K is taken by Bayo and Bass to MRPD. The bomb detonated at exactly 0209 UTC on July 13th, 2023. 2 minutes and 15 seconds later, at 2:12 UTC, Ramee el-Rahman calls Commissioner Bass. His cell phone location at that time places him directly at the SDSO. To clarify, limited civilians were aware of what had even happened at this stage. It all happened very quickly within a 5-minute time span. And even fewer are aware that Mr. Costello is present at the explosion or that he's even taken into custody. Civilians directly on scene are Mr. Harrington, EMS, Deputy Mayor Nancy Drew. That's it. Also aware were Mr. Costello and Mr. K, but they're both in custody, so they can't tell anybody. Shortly after, Mr. K twats. Quote, Carmine is a goddamn criminal. He just blew up Sandy Shores PD. Shortly after Mr. K, Commissioner Bass, Corporal Bayo, they arrive at Mission Row Police Department while Costello is en route to Beaver Bush Ranger Station. Another 911 comes in. All capital letters, if you don't release Carmine from custody, we are going to bomb again.
I don't even know what the verdict will be. I'll let you know.
Units attempt to negotiate via 911, and Corporal Bayo is responding to the 911s, and then a second one comes in a few minutes later. We aren't willing to negotiate, and since you didn't release Carmine, another PD goes. Around the time of the second 911, Ramee el-Rahman receives a telephone call. That call is triangulates his phone directly to the area of Mission Row Police Department. Sergeant Knight and Senior Ranger Bundy, that's me, were on the phone when Knight hears beeping. He scrambles through the building, he clears it, he goes into the parking lot, he's looking for the bomb, he's making sure there's no civilians and no suspects in custody, he's clearing officers out, and ultimately he reaches the rooftop, finding the bomb on top of MRPD. Similar to the SDSO scene, multiple units arrive on scene and attempt to secure the area. Senior Ranger Bundy, that's me, I drive over to Sergeant Bison's location, I trade vehicles with him because he got head on by a street racer. And I travel to Beaver Bush, where Carmine's still in custody. Bison, meanwhile, travels to MRPD to gain control of the scene and to exercise EOD. Corporal Bayo and Commissioner Bass ensured that MRPD was evacuated when Mr. K and Commissioner Bass determined that Mr. K would be able to defuse the bomb. Mr. K and Commissioner Bass ascend to the rooftop through the stairs. Meanwhile, EMS stages in the area. Chief of EMS, Kiki Pendragon, and her trainee, they hover about a half a mile away in life flight. Mr. K and Commissioner Baas step out onto the front roof, and the bomb has 50 seconds remaining. They're informed of this by Bison, and Mr. K turns to Bass and embraces him. He hugs him, and he says, "At least we'll go out together." Aaron Bison starts frantically attempting to defuse the bomb. He's ripping out wires, but unfortunately, he's just not successful. According to EMS testimony, the bomb detonated not once, but twice, catching Mr. K, Sergeant Bison, and the late Commissioner Sam Bass in the explosion. Life Flight lands, it performs rescue operations, but upon arrival, Commissioner Sam Bass is not responsive. He has no pulse, he's not breathing, and he's not responsive to their attempts. He's transported straight to surgery at Sandy Shores Medical, and the doctors aren't able to help him.
He can go as long as he
The
wants.
following day, July 13th, 2023, Detective Brian Knight gets a phone call, which he documented for the People's S, and this is from Mr. K. Mr. K also was transported for medical services, with Ramee el-Rahman arriving at his bedside.
Thank you everybody again for your follows.
He's released from intensive care the following day, and he's asking Brian Knight on the phone, demanding to know who killed Sam Bass. On the same date, defendant Ramee el-Rahman was the victim of not one, but 2 attacks with rocket-propelled grenades, documented in the People's O and the People's P. Incidents he had no recollection of whatsoever during his recorded interview. However, per Knight's recollection of the People's S, Mr. K indicated he was seeking revenge. Revenge for a loved one that he had lost less than 24 hours before. Knight gets a second call from K, who states that he's in an upside-down world and he's losing his mind. Knight then gets a third call from K, stating that he did something bad. At that time, Knight, Bundy, that's me, and Kovacic travel to Sandy Shores Mines, and they locate Cap Terranova, stabbed, as documented in the People's Q. The phone records of Ramee el-Rahman show that at almost this exact time, Mr. K texts Ramee a photograph of Terranova, Pigeon, lying face down on the train tracks inside of the mines of Sandy Shores. And then he texts him, "Lies, lies, lies, the bird flies no more." The People's U around line 1500 or so. Mr. K, who loved Bass, who asked Bass to mediate conflict with Costello, learning that Bass was dead, became broken and started attacking his own allies, Ramee el-Rahman, Cap Terranova, and Bobby Brown. Per the People's R, the following day, another bomb is planted. Deputy Velsing was at Beaverbush Park Ranger Station when he witnessed an individual with, quote, "a black hoodie and a wingsuit on his back flee the area." Velsing loses visual, and then he sees a sports car circling and leaving the area. And Murphy's going to love this part because he's been asking all night. When asked in his affidavit, Velsing indicated that the suspect fleeing Beaverbush precisely matched the photograph of Miguel Almerion at the time that he was being interviewed by Brian Knight and Jeffrey Bundy. Following that vehicle disappearing, a 911 indicates that an explosive device has been planted at Beaverbush Ranger Station. Velsing finds it, and then it immediately blows up. There was virtually no chance to defuse it. Beyond merely identifying a similar outfit, the phone records of Miguel Almerion place Miguel Almerion in the area of the Beaverbush bombing, directly north of the Vinewood area. Further, Ramee el-Rahman's phone records place him directly south of Beaverbush moments before detonation, lines 23 and 24 of the cell phone records in the People's U. Mr. el-Rahman was interviewed. And the court's going to decide whether they strike that interview while they're in chambers. But this was July 15th, 2023. Brian Knight and Jeffrey Bundy, we took him down to the Aegis building, and the recording's the People's AF. He agreed to an interview, was brought to the FIB building for a discussion, which occurred on recording, and he wasn't in custody, and no warrant had been issued for his arrest in relation to this. Defendant el-Rahman immediately began to discredit Mr. K as, quote, deranged and, quote, senile as fuck, apparently concerned with what Mr. K may have said to Brian Knight. Per Ramee's own statements, Mr. K was irate when Ramee informed him of Bass's death, slicing at Ramee with a sword. In his own interview, Ramee was the first one to mention Commissioner Sam Baas as the interviewers were about to ask about the stabbing of Cap Terranova. Ramee contradicted the physical evidence at multiple turns. He states he wasn't at Beaverbush on the day of the bombing. He stated he had not been with Miguel Almerion in the days prior. He stated he had not been at the SDSO at the time of the bombing. And this is all despite phone records and logs showing him on scene at the SDSO 2 minutes after detonation. Phone records showing him directly south of Beaverbush following that bombing. Phone records showing him at MRPD 5 minutes prior to detonation. And Miguel Almerion's own statements on recorded interview that he had been with Ramee continuously for 3 days. And perhaps most interestingly, Ramee claimed that he was first in Little Soul Cubby and then, quote, just driving around waiting on Kay to be released from custody at the time of the MRPD bombing. But again, that's not what his phone records tell us. Following the incidents involved, Ramee was also arrested or witnessed by officers on separate occasions in possession of a grapple gun. The same contraband which was witnessed and used by officers to scale the roof of the SDSO and which was likely used to scale the roof of MRPD. Another was found in his Little Soul apartment during his search and seizure. And one of the other separate incidents is the People's AO, crimes that he committed afterward. Miguel Almerion is interviewed on the same day as Ramee, and in that recording, Almerion denies any knowledge of the explosion at MRPD, but he states that he knew Commissioner Baas had passed away. Miguel Almerion stated on record that he had no relationship with Carmine Costello, but then he starts to go on this contention and stating that he, quote, beat him up every time that he saw him. Miguel also married his whereabouts to those of Ramee el-Rahman. Quote, literally, me and Ramee the last 3 days hadn't left each other's sides. Miguel stated that he was with Ramee on July 12, 2023. He states that he and Ramee were at the Yellow Jack prior to the explosion in the SDSO. He states that he believes that they were there at the end of it because they, quote, saw Mr. K and Carmine in cuffs outside of the SDSO. Miguel stated that he and Ramee, quote, just left and there was no reason for them to be there. After leaving Sandy Shores, Miguel says he and Ramee went back to the Cubby and Little Soul, stayed there for an undetermined amount of time, and then they were just driving around when they got a call about Mr. K and went to the hospital. Miguel stated that Ramee, Miguel, and Bobby were the only 3 present, 2 of whom were the later targets of Mr. K's revenge, as talked about before. The day prior to the interview, Miguel stated that he was with Ramee driving around in a black and color vehicle with a white stripe. Ramee was bitching about Miguel due to the car giving Ramee headaches and departed his presence in Little Soul. Miguel denied any knowledge of Ramee driving RC cars in the area of Vinewood following the bombing of the Beaverbush Park Ranger Station, which is interesting because in Ramee's interview, he admitted to that wholesale. Miguel admitted to being present when Ramee el-Rahman was injured in the area of the mine shafts of the Vinewood Hills, stating that he and Ramee were responding to an unknown phone number. They saw cars at the mine shaft, and there were spooky sounds coming from inside with some priest-like individual. Miguel also states that he was present at the Merriweather docks with Bobby and Ramee when Bobby went downstairs. Miguel hears the sound of a rocket-propelled grenade, and Ramee is injured and Bobby is struck but not incapacitated. Miguel concurs with Ramee that Kay was upset at Baas's passing because Kay and Baas were in love, and Kay had been very, quote, distant since Baas's death. The people ask that this court remember the burden that's laid before it, whether there's proof beyond a reasonable doubt that Miguel Almerion and Ramee el-Rahman orchestrated the attacks of the SDSO, MRPD, and Beaverbush Park Ranger Station. To rephrase that burden, it is the duty of the people to convince this court that there is no other reasonable explanation that can come from the evidence that we present today. Bombs don't leave physical evidence behind, they leave rubble. A careful bomber leaves no trace. There's no cell phone activation, there's no fingerprints, there's no bullet casings, there's nothing on forensics. The people are left with only one option: construct a narrative through the evidence that's available. So what is the evidence? Not one, but 2 officers got a partial identification of Mr. el-Rahman. Sergeant Lane notes 2 individuals jumping from the SDSO roof, evading into a vehicle, hearing the bomb ticking. Detective Rain noted an individual matching the customary clothing and body type of Mr. El-Rahman, utilizing a grapple gun, as he has proven to love in the past, and incidents after the bombing.
This isn't
Noting,
his longest.
Vehicles previously driven by members of the Changaloa cartel, compromised of various members of CG, including Mr. El-Rahman. 2 minutes after the bomb detonates, El-Rahman is on scene according to his phone records. We know that Ramee El-Rahman was on scene because of this. We know that the second individual spotted was therefore likely Miguel Almerion. Quote, literally, me and Ramee the last 3 days haven't left each other's side. The 911 caller
Thank you, everybody,
was an
again, for the
individual who
follows.
knew that Carmine Costello was in custody. The individuals who witnessed Carmine in custody are limited to police officers, Deputy Mayor Nancy Drew, Mr. K, Ramee El-Rahman, and Miguel Almerion. Per Miguel's own statement, they saw Carmine being taken into custody. The 911 callers demand the release of Carmine, and then they plant a second explosive on MRPD, a device with a 5-minute timer. 5 minutes prior to that detonation, Ramee El-Rahman's phone records once again put him right in that area. Interviews demonstrate that the excuse that they were driving around. The next day, Mr. K awakens out of the ICU, learns that Baas has died, and he attacks Miguel
He's
Almerion
reiterating
and Ramee
himself at this
El-Rahman,
point.
2 of his associates. He blows them up with explosives, poetic considering the way that Commissioner Baas had just perished the day before. And finally, on the 14th, Miguel Almerion and Ramee El-Rahman, contrary to the statements in interviews saying they had no idea about the bombing of Beaverbush, are placed in the area of the bombing minutes prior to the detonation by their phone records. The dynamic duo who hadn't left each other's sides for days once again in the direct vicinity of a bombing tied to the first two through 911 calls referring back to the previous bombs. So the people ask this court, what other reasonable alternative could the evidence paint? Is it reasonable to believe that Ramee El-Rahman and Miguel Almerion happened to be just driving in the area every time these bombs were detonated? Were they coincidentally there? Is it a coincidence that an enemy of
Circumstantial,
CG,
for
Mr.
sure.
Costello, was blamed and centered on each of these 3 incidents? Mr. Costello, who Ramee El-Rahman had targeted personally several times alongside K. Is it a coincidence that upon learning about of the death of Baas, Mr. K targets Ramee El-Rahman? Did he and the people both have it wrong this entire time? Will the court accept the defense of continuous and unadulterated coincidences? I've been going on for a super long time, and I'm sorry about that. But anyone who knew Commissioner Baas would know that he was a huge fan of metaphors. He was also a fan of butchering them, but that was part of his charm. So I'm going to quote one of our former presidents in closing. There's an old saying in Tennessee. I know, no, it's Texas, probably Tennessee. It says, "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me, you can't get fooled again." Don't get fooled by the defense's statement that there's no proof or that the allegations are coincidences. Find the defendants guilty, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, everybody wake up.
All right. Well,
Anyone got a time check on that? Time check,
25
anyone?
minutes and 54 seconds.
Jesus Christ.
That's Bundy. You've done better, buddy. Come on, please.
Yeah,
I've
no,
heard you go at
I
least 39.
I was not going for a record, Your Honor.
I understand. Just giving you a little shit.
Adams, I just sent you a picture. Can you put it up on the thing for me, please?
Let me look at it real quick.
Yeah, it's on your phone.
I just finished my scavenge. Are we still going?
This wipe, really?
Yeah, of course.
Sure. It's not
that's what
probative
it was.
evidence.
All right.
I think it sums
Okay.
up Ramee's response.
So anyway, as we were saying, guys, here's my closing statement. Your Honor, I was not seen at any of these locations. Per Bundy's testimony, a person in black was seen at the SDSO building. If that is the case, this entire courtroom is guilty of the murder of Sam Bass, if we're going to go by those jurisdictions and laws. Your Honor...
Jurisdiction?
Shut up, Brian. Your Honor, every single testimony here, all the reports and the evidence all state that I was not ID'd at any situation. Frankly, Miguel wasn't even mentioned in this entire court case. And Yeah, that's all. God, I didn't do this. I didn't do this. I'll let Murphy give the long one, but this is. I'm not gonna lie. I got super tired after that fucking. I got super tired. Listen, I'm gonna keep it real. I got hella tired after fucking.
Why didn't you bring up
Bundy's
the baby?
speech.
What the fuck was
I'm not gonna lie here, Ramee. That wasn't very Mike Rossio.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm tired as fuck after Bundy's fucking closing statement. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I had to make some cuts to mine because I figured that would happen. I made some cuts. Cut it down.
You didn't have to
All
make
right.
cuts.
I had a whole eulogy for Baas that got cut. Sorry, I was gonna do a few words for him, but yeah, nah, we don't need to do that. So listen, in a case like this, it's super important to get it right because you're dealing with a lot of circumstantial facts and evidence, a lot of inconclusive, as Bundy put it, partial identification, I guess is the euphemism for not seeing a motherfucker. I mean, just to give an indication of the standard, because I was at this deposition. Let me find the partial quote. I didn't see his face, but I was pretty sure it was Ramee because he had a black shirt and a sword. That's the level of identification that we're talking about when we're talking about those two officers in Bundy's closing. Black clothing, two individuals. Couldn't see whether they were wearing helmets or masks. That's how good the description was. And the other person, the other officer said, I am pretty sure it was Ramee, but I didn't see his face. So let's make that clear on the identification to parrot what Ramee said. It's very important to get it right when it comes to
this is so
accumulation of evidence like this, especially given that most of the witnesses that have either given affidavits or given sworn testimony are fellow law enforcement officers. Everybody who is an officer of the court or an officer of the law knows roughly how that is weighed generally as evidence. It cannot be discounted in this case. We are not only talking about the death of a police officer, we are talking about a beloved figure in their community, a former commissioner who's held high in esteem amongst most law enforcement. Their zeal to seek justice in his memory is to be commended, and it is to be respected. And I do respect that they are trying to get justice for Sam Baas, however best they can, and at any cost, and at no expense spared. So, you know, they've tried the best case before them, insofar as that goes, and they have my admiration. But those facts and inconclusive statements and testimonies do need to be weighed a little differently, because there's almost an institutional bias about Sam Baas that is not negligible. Now, the facts and forensics of this case have clearly fallen short of expectation, given the mention of partial ID and little catchphrases like that. There's no smoking gun here. We have a lot of unconnected reports being tied together primarily by a firsthand eyewitness, Mr. Costello, whose credibility is verifiably questionable at best. It has been determined that it is a two-way street of hostility between Carmine Costello and members of Chang Gang. So his capacity to lie or mislead or deceive in an effort to cause hurt and pain to the defendants is also not negligible, and his credibility must be weighed accordingly. Like I said, the reports listed in the people's evidence barely mention the defendants, barely mention Miguel or Ramee. The phone records, insofar as text messages, there's nothing incriminating there. Phone calls that were made or received that have been mentioned, weren't even answered. There's a lot to go through and not come up with much in terms of the evidence. And I was expecting to hear some sort of bombshell, and I never really did. It's understandable to want justice, and I have no doubt that the people are confident they have the right targets, but they may be a little too confident of that. They may have succumbed to a bit of tunnel vision on this one. But yeah, it is interesting that Bundy said the job of the prosecution is to use the information available and to construct a narrative. While they have constructed a narrative, I do believe they have failed to use the information available. Now, I'm going to say some things, and I'd like to mention first that I've lost count since I started counting of the number of times witnesses, prosecutors have mentioned a whole lot of hearsay stated supposedly by Mr. K in this court case. And with that in mind, I'm going to move on to sort of the meat of this case. I'm going to refer to the prosecution's statement of claim as well as the closing statement where they state that Mr. K sought revenge for things that supposedly Ramee did and did in fact target Ramee and Miguel. There have been many utterances of hearsay of Mr. K in this case in relation to those things. So I'm left to ask myself, with all this mention of Mr. K and things that he's supposed to have said, why was Mr. K not listed as an eyewitness in this case? And, well, shit, you know, I can't think of a good reason for that. Because the prosecution's entire case is predicated and their motive is established based on the motives and actions of Mr. K against the defendants. He is also a victim and a material eyewitness to the murder of Sam Baas. I can think of only two reasons why he wouldn't be listed as an eyewitness. The first one, which I want to be very clear, Your Honor, this is not what I believe to be the case. It simply slipped their minds. The second, of course, is that they had concerns about the testimony of Mr. K and how it may or may not line up with the narrative they're presenting here today. They were afraid. They had a fear of what he might say under oath on the stand, and they acted on that fear. They're not allowed to do that, is kind of what I'm getting at. And they're especially not allowed to do that and then shoehorn a bunch of hearsay into their stuff. So in short, the defense has the right to remain silent. The prosecution, on the other hand, subscribes to a different set of rules. They are not able to pick and choose which evidence to use in their case or which material eyewitnesses to select at their leisure. And there were many complications in this case. Things were sealed, and there were lengthy pretrial discussions regarding witnesses. And I can confirm that never at any point did Mr. K make it onto a witness list. So the second reason, of course, they would withhold him is for that fear. They do not get to act on that fear. If someone's statements and sworn testimony can have a direct impact on the proceedings such that they are mentioned roughly every 30 to 45 seconds throughout the entire trial and are paraphrased, quoted directly, and phone calls mentioned with parties who are deceased, guilt or innocence cannot be determined. And the length to which they've gone to put words into Mr. K's mouth suggests that they decided very early not to include him. And I waited all through discovery to see if they would add him or to potentially maybe add him as a defendant. I don't know. And the outside chance always existed that he would be called as a surprise witness. Seems like that kind of case. That window was slammed shut on the people's fingers. This is a very, very, very blatant, bold textbook Brady violation, and it's like a dismissed with prejudice kind of Brady violation. It is very egregious. And with that, I leave you with many, many things to chew on, Your Honor.
Your Honor, is that a motion to dismiss that the people need to respond to, or is that just kind of rhetoric? I kind of fell asleep for a little while.
Just about to ask that, actually.
That's crazy. I fell asleep.
I feel like that's where you were going, Braun. That's the vibe I was getting with how
yeah.
you brought that to the end. Are you introducing a formal motion to dismiss at this time?
Motion to dismiss with prejudice on the grounds of a Brady violation. They
I can.
excluded
It's my YPM.
evidence.
It's a lot.
I can tackle this very easily, Your Honor.
Sure.
Show me a Brady motion on the docket. If I'm familiar with Maryland versus Brady, which I think that I am, the defense is required to file a motion requesting exculpatory information, and Mr. Braun failed to do so. So Maryland versus Brady doesn't apply to anything in this case.
Okay, so
I'd also like to add
the prosecution can seal
Your Honor,
the
may I
entire
continue?
court
Hold on,
case.
hold
I
on.
started talking before she did, Your Honor.
Ms. Colfaxi, I'll allow for an additional rebuttal, but Mr. Braun did start speaking. I'll hear what you have to say, Mr.
I
Braun.
understand, but yeah. Sorry, there's a lot of talking.
You will be heard,
they
Counselor.
Just want to keep interrupting me. That's fine.
You will be heard, Counselor, but Mr. Braun, go ahead, please.
All right. Well, now I forgot what Bundy said. That
He stated that there was no motion for such on the docket, and therefore this wouldn't apply.
Right. So, this is a very atypical case, Your Honor. A lot of the information flowed very slowly and secretly, and throughout the entire discovery process, like I said, I waited to see if he would be added as a witness or a defendant.
Okay,
Yeah.
Your Honor, as part of further response, first I would note that this means that counsel noted that hole existed and chose to not motion for production or anything along those lines. One might argue that that's bad faith on behalf of defense counsel.
Or poor litigation on your half.
Shut up.
Mr. el-Rahman.
Secondly, Mr. K has mentioned multiple times there is a subpoena in which he has notified that his phone records were taken. His statements from Mr. K tonight are mentioned on multiple reports. And as the defense counsel just pointed out, his name is mentioned in the primary report this is attached to. They knew he was a
Is this a
witness.
whole
They could've-
extra closing statement, Your Honor?
He's
shut the
rebutting
fuck
to
up,
your
Murphy.
response, Murphy.
Wait a minute. I'm not standing for that because I'm being nice, Your Honor.
Okay.
I wouldn't take contempt for that, and I want my
Okay,
chance to speak.
Bundy.
That's the second time they've interrupted me while I was trying to respond. Your
I understand.
Your Honor, Bundy's
Okay.
ticky-tack nonsense.
Okay,
does
how
not
about
override
both of
the
you?
responsibility to
Both
call
of you
every
at the moment.
eyewitness to a homicide, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your Honor, may I conclude?
Who the fuck did that?
I heard it over there.
Is he getting contempt
I'm pretty
for
sure
that or not?
Ramee's phone's going off.
That's not my phone.
Is he getting contempt? No. I was listening to his response and there was an interruption from the defense side. Murphy, you, however, for that, absolutely will be receiving a county
I didn't
contempt.
even get a warning. He said, "Shut the fuck up." To me.
I gave a
said,
blanket
"Shut the
warning at
fuck
the
up."
start of
You
the
didn't
case that
get
you were present for, sir.
So how come
You
you
gave
didn't get
him the
that?
same blanket warning, Your Honor.
Yes, I understand he was interrupted, sir. I was addressing the court and you spoke over me, Mr. Braun.
So I should get one just like he did, Your Honor. But whatever.
Just to wrap up, Your Honor, they knew that witness existed. They could have interviewed him. They could have called him. It's not a Brady violation because we don't have any additional information they haven't been given. We ain't got nothing to hand over.
And again, Your Honor, I will say that their ticky-tack nonsense over there does not override the fact that they have a responsibility to call every eyewitness to a homicide. And every eyewitness who
Your
has
Honor,
material
we're
facts...
I don't
limited
need
to two witnesses.
I don't need anything further from either side. Mr. Braun, your concerns are noted, and I understand what you are leaning in towards here. I am going to deny the motion to dismiss with prejudice at this time. However, I will say, I will review the evidence at hand. I will refer the references to the individual known as Mr. K at hand. I will review them in the light that they are given. If it's just evidence to conversations that were had directly without any factual evidence, I will view it as such. I won't necessarily take it as gospel, sir. I will hold it in weight accordingly. I won't give it the value that I would something like an interrogation that is recorded, sir. With that said, I do thank you both for your time.
Your Honor, can I just say one thing?
Sure.
I don't understand. Like, let me just talk freely here. That you can tell me if I'm like a dumbass or not. All right. Listen. The entire court case, they put words that Mr. K said, done, and his actions have taken.
Yep.
Didn't even question him or bring him up or do anything.
Correct.
Allegedly, of course, obviously.
Your Honor, may I rebut?
So
I don't need a rebuttal here. I've already explained this to him, but please.
All right, whatever. All right, go ahead.
This isn't necessarily an objection, Mr. El-Rahman, as I just stated,
curious.
and so I can kind of explain to you, right? With regards to evidentiary standards here and how this works, Mr. Spector, as I'm sure you're aware as an aspiring attorney, they are speaking to conversations that they had as direct witness, right? I'll admit the testimony, but I'll weigh it, but I won't hold it as heavily as I would something like your recorded interrogation with Brian Knight, as example, or Miguel's, or anybody else's. I'll take it under advisement and consideration. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's gospel. I'm not giving it the same weight or value as anything else that I would in this matter, sir. So while it's not inherently stricken from the record, and now while I'm denying the motion to dismiss at this time, I will hold it in such a light, sir.
Sounds good, Your Honor.
And Counselor Braun's concerns have been noted for the record.
I just want to say, guys, I'm right here if anyone has any questions.
We're far beyond that point, Mr. K.
Do it jiggle?
We're far beyond that point.
I'm just saying, I've been here the whole time, guys.
You have, in fact, been here the whole time. And I do
Mr.
appreciate you
Judge,
being here.
Hey, is Murphy getting contempt?
I'll stew on it and determine at the. I'll determine that at the time of a verdict. I understand
I heard Bundy scream like a little pussy like 4 times after the fact you gave him contempt.
I will determine that at the time that I deliver this verdict, Mr. Almerion. I do appreciate your concern. That said, I have 49 articles of evidence to review, and including a couple of multi-hour interrogations. I have 4 affidavits, 2 sealed depositions, and 3 bits of witness testimony to review. I have a 25 statement from Mr. Bundy, as well as you guys' closing as well to review. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and retire to my chambers for deliberation. This will take a while. I am not certain that I will have a verdict this evening. I will advise shortly. Whether I will ask this court to reconvene at a later time, or if I can get to something this evening, I will let you know in short order. I ask that everyone remain here momentarily while I make that determination, and I will come in and address the courts as such at that time. For now, this matter is placed into recess while I go ahead and deliberate.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Get shit on, guys.
Wait.
Did
you
you guys?
you know this is a publicity stunt, right?
Did
Tessa,
you
you're
guys
in
forget
charge.
what Miguel sounded like as he sat there like a good dog the whole time?
Oh my God.
Jerry coming?
No clue.
Okay. All right. Came here to say that you hate Norman. Fuck, Simo. I'm not gonna lie. I need a minute. That was 25 straight minutes of typing from Bundy, and I got a lot to look at.
I'm expecting you to have a lot of silence here because I'm going to be thinking about the testimony.
I have so much that I need to go through. It's not even fun. It's not even
You
funny.
literally have a mountain to go through.
Thank you, everybody, for all your follows and everything and all the support. Sorry I haven't been able to address chat a whole lot during the case. Obviously, there are 1,000,006 things to go through in deliberation. I sincerely doubt I'll have a verdict this evening. Yeah, there's a literal mountain to go through. And considering that Bundy took the time to highlight basically every single report in his 25-minute closing, I do have to basically go line by line in this matter. There's a lot to review here. I'm impressed that we got this done in 3 hours. That's
Could have been much worse.
Could have been much worse. He was listening to Cancel playing Tarkov. Yeah. I do thank you, everybody, for the follows and love and support and everything. We're going to deliberate. This is going to take me some amount of time. I'm going to go ahead and actually mute the notifications for now. I'll keep an eye on them to see if anything comes through. I'll acknowledge everything as I can. But at this time, I do kind of need to focus at this point in time, right? So we'll be taking a look over everything here. And I'll share as much as I can. All right, gentlemen. Titus, I know you don't have the evidence. Bill, I know you do.
I don't have the affidavits, but I do have.
They should be part of that that document that I sent you.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, people's AP.
Yep, they would be yeah. AP 1 through 4. The only thing that you don't have would be the bits of testimony from Shelby Lane and Aurora Rain, as they were. Those were the sealed depositions that occurred. We have a couple of very important questions to ask here. And this is one of those unique cases where we're going to have to ask ourselves. Because I think it's even admitted in the prosecution's closing statement. There is nothing but circumstantial evidence here. Largely. Now I need to take the time to go back and review everyone's spoken in interrogations and things, and that's gonna take me a while. But here's kind of what I'm looking at, right? This is gonna be one of those cases where we're gonna have to determine if an overwhelming amount of circumstantial evidence. Please, Jerry. Jerry's gonna go kill people. If an overwhelming amount of circumstantial evidence is enough to convict people of capital level offenses, is really what this is going to come down to. I also have to answer the core question pertaining to whether that initial interrogation of Ramee el-Rahman is admissible or not. Now, I'm going to ask each of your opinions, because I'm going to have to ponder on this for a bit. With the version of events that was described, it's implied and inferred by Brian that he reached out to Ramee, they agreed to meet at the SDSO, and then Ramee was then taken to the FIB/Aegis building and was brought there for questioning. He was moved from the SDSO to Aegis. It sounds like he was moved in Brian Knight's car. Ramee makes assertions that his face was covered and he was placed in handcuffs, which was confirmed by Brian Knight. At that point, one, is that a detainment, yes or no?
In my books, as soon as somebody's in handcuffs, it is not free to leave. Like they never asked if he had been asked to end the interview if he would be let go of the car immediately, But in my mind, if he is cuffed and put a spit cover on, as they called it,
he's gonna go on a hold.
That's an arrest. Or at least to detainment. And moved.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry about that. There's a little bit of a problem.
Good shit, Jerry. Appreciate you regulating.
Ramee just ran out.
Oh, well.
Fleeing.
Okay.
Just so you know. He violated his bail. I told him he either... What's that?
He did earlier.
Yeah. I either told him he can sit here and quiet, or he can go up on a hold. But people aren't screaming and yelling in the courtroom. They're just fist fighting constantly. I could hear them from here, and I know that's impossible for you guys. Oh.
Yeah.
It'll be good now. I told everybody to fucking leave, and you can just make an announcement when you're ready.
Yeah, we'll just do that. Because that's probably not going to be tonight, if I had to guess.
I figured.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just trying to get 3 core questions, and I want to bounce this off of you, Jerry. I actually want your opinion here. This interrogation that took place for Ramee. It sounds like it was originally arranged on voluntary circumstances. But then, according to Ramee and confirmed by Brian, he was placed into handcuffs when he was moved from the SDSO to the FIB building, and that his face was covered at some point. I think Ramee's at the door.
Bro, so why the fuck am I here then? I don't understand.
I'll take care of it. What's going on?
Okay. So I'll give you my couple cents while he's dealing with that.
Sure.
So
No, I didn't.
Okay, what was the exact word you asked about detained, right? Was your
Correct.
exact
Is
word?
is that did that turn into a detainment and kind of lose its standing as a voluntary questioning at that point in time?
Okay.
Let me pop out and deal with this real quick.
Okay.
Be quiet.
Yo,
You're
who
not
the fuck is the
interrupting
guy?
them. Or you could go up on the hold because it's gonna be a while. It'll probably not be all. It'll probably be all night.
Exactly. So.
Hmm.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, explain this again.
What do you either stay here and be quiet, or you go up to the.
Why do I have to
fucking
stay
court.
here if the guy's gonna take all fucking night for it? I don't understand.
He's right here.
He's telling you to choose stay here in the courtroom and wait for him to be done, or go to the fucking prison and wait.
Right.
Or until I make such a decision, Ramee, an announcement that we're going to reconvene at a later time.
Didn't you just do that? Isn't that what Cal just did on the stand?
Jerry?
What?
Is that what you?
No, I said they can leave if you're not involved.
You
Obviously,
just said
this
it's
guy's
not
a
going to
little
be
different.
done by tonight, and it'll be done at a different time. Is that what you just said on the stand?
I said it possibly will be. That's why I was giving you the.
I can't even go up on this stand. Nope.
Jesus Christ! You could choose the two. If you want to
Ramee,
sit here for a while,
Ramee,
you can.
Hold tight for a bit. Don't
Okay,
cause any
okay,
trouble.
I will.
Okay?
I'm under the assumption that Cal said the complete opposite when he went on the stand. That's why I'm asking.
That's not what I said.
Yeah, you did, bro. But it's okay. I think
If
well,
you
that's the
want to
impression
sit
everybody
here,
got.
you're the only one that has to stay here.
That's fine. I don't care, Cal.
Okay, well, you can sit here.
Okay, I will.
Just hold tight for a minute. That's all you got to do, Ram.
Okay, I will. I was told different from Cal, but that's why I'm here.
I understand.
Didn't say
It's
that.
clear. It's cleared up.
Gaslight
Just
me.
I didn't gaslight you, bitch. You went up on the stand and
Excuse
said, "Guys,
me!
this shit's gonna be done a different day."
That's a judge.
It's getting hot.
that's a justice.
It's
Ramee.
getting crazy out here.
Okay, well,
I'll send you up to prison right now.
I said what I fucking
Asshole.
said.
was the chair guy.
Oh, so now you're gonna call me an asshole, but I can't call you a bitch.
You started it.
Oh,
You're
shit.
you're also you're also
you
in
can't
his
take the heat out of the
domain.
kitchen.
You're also in his domain,
Ground,
Ramee.
Whatever you
Our
say, Jerry.
domain.
Okay.
This guy just made
Well, I
a
thought.
pitch.
You're right.
Yeah.
I would like to
Ramee,
have
you
a
gotta hold your ground,
jury,
Ramee.
a jury selection for this bail hearing, but oh wait, never mind.
Huh?
Oh no, nothing,
wasn't your
guys.
best one.
Nothing.
That one didn't really land, Ramee.
No,
I'm
oh,
sorry.
It landed between Callow and I. Don't worry. Yes.
I'm not gonna have a conversation on this while there's fucking 40 people out in the hallway.
I don't think they can hear us here, can they?
There's 40 people literally right outside the fucking door. Yeah, no, right outside the door. They totally can.
They can. All right.
Not everyone can be a good daughter.
You know, it's okay.
So I have to overcome two questions, and then that kind of determines how much longer this is gonna proceed. Oh Jesus, I'm gonna go back out there.
Oh my god, are you guys serious
Can you take this fucking clown fiesta somewhere else?
You guys mind clearing the hallway, please?
You
Jesus,
got it clear. All right, everybody
clear
go
the
back
damn
in.
hallway.
All
right, everybody back inside.
All right, everybody back.
I was
Hold on. I understand this.
Yeah.
I understand.
Who asked?
Everybody.
right now. Oh my god.
Yeah, Ramee, we are serious, damn it.
Shut up, Connor.
God damn it.
All right.
I'm about. If he's talking shit again, I'm sending him up to prison.
I don't blame you. You're within your right to do that. We're
Go
here.
ahead.
He's directing it at you, so. I have two questions that I just need to answer before I determine if I'm going to continue any further on this deliberation. One is about the detainment on whether that was, whether the evidence in question is going to be admissible. Because Ramee inferred that it was inferred that it was voluntary at first. But then Ramee states and Brian confirms he was thrown into handcuffs, and a cover was thrown over his face when he was moved from the SDSO to the FIB building.
Okay, well, there's two parts of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first part is, one, there was other testimony that said it was for the effect, and it seemed like they were in on it because Ramee asked to go to the clothing store.
Correct.
So there seems to be some type of probably should have been pushed a little bit.
Yeah,
That's a good point as well.
They probably should have leaned on that a little bit harder. Yeah.
Second, whether that's admissible or not is honestly, if they're not going to lean on that and they don't want to bring that up or have a sidebar or something like that,
There was a
then
motion
they can
about
take.
it at the very beginning.
There's a
There
motion
was?
that I said I would take under advisement because I need to review the actual tape. The concern was that their insinuation, Jerry, is that they weren't. He wasn't Mirandized. Prosecution saying he wasn't Mirandized because he was there voluntarily. Defense is asserting it wasn't voluntarily because of the handcuffs, cover, and circumstance.
He wasn't Mirandized.
He was not Mirandized apparently on that first
And
on
he
that
said
interrogation.
stuff that
tape.
was incriminating.
Correct.
Was he asked if he wanted a lawyer?
I have not reviewed the tape. That's what I needed to do, and that's why I said I needed time to review.
That's Miranda, right?
I mean, technically, look, there's precedent before. We don't have that in this. We don't have that here. But usually, if it's a repeat felon, you could argue if they ask, say, hey, do you want a lawyer? You want to go to investigation? Do you want to talk to us? They insinuate that they know their rights. However, we don't have that around here, so that is an interesting point.
We're also considering Ramee has been walking around advertising himself and quite honestly acting in this courtroom as if he's acting as some type of a lawyer or law, aspiring individual.
Going to refer specifically to how we have the Fifth Amendment right to counsel written up in our case law. I know it's an old document, but it's still the best we have. And it makes it pretty clear. All it needs is the defendant needs to be in custody. So I'll just read it. Under the Fifth Amendment, any statements that a defendant in custody makes during an interrogation are admissible as evidence at criminal trial only if law enforcement told the defendant of the right to remain silent and the right to speak to an attorney before the interrogation started, and the rights were either exercised or waived in a knowing, voluntary.
Chad, I'm going to emphasize this. I have an answer to this question. I'm taking inputs. Yeah, emote only for a minute.
We have.
We do have Meg Caracruz, though.
Oh, what's
People v. Meg Caracruz?
An express statement by a defendant, including a request as to whether an attorney is available, shall constitute an affirmative invocation of the Miranda rights as read in the state of Los Santos. If you cannot,
so we do have
will be read to you.
A window for an affirmative invocation other than the Miranda rights being directly read to you.
Sure, but the defendant needs to make that invocation.
Yes.
What's the which evidence is it?
This is it is an interview. Let me get you the file of evidence here, Kel.
Okay. And they had a motion before this?
Yeah, it was at the very beginning of trial. It was a pre-trial motion to throw out the interrogation.
Okay.
Because it wasn't Miranda.
How long? Okay. How long was this argument? Was it short? Did you cut it short? Because it seems like something that should have been absolutely argued.
I told them that I would take it under advisement because I'd have to review the tape. I don't know whether there's any invocation of requesting counsel or anything on the tape or not. I haven't listened to it. It's a 2-part interview. It's listed in there as the people's AF and AG.
I mean, there's the only important part is there is at the beginning, or if they have any other in the middle of it or at any time they mentioned it. So that would
which they didn't expand on. There was no assertion from the defense that the defendant requested counsel or anything to that effect. So Caracruz wouldn't apply here. I'm just saying that right off the jump. He didn't ask for counsel, or at least they didn't state that he did.
They didn't state that he. I mean, he may. I mean, when you review it, you may find it in there, right?
Yeah.
But.
But also, I don't know if that necessarily determines whether I need to change my mind on the interrogation here or not. Or on the remainder of the case here or not. Secondly, that whole bit at the end pertaining to Brady violations and not calling Mr. K as a witness. Y'all know why I tossed that aside, yeah?
Hold on, who? I missed that part. I was buying chairs.
Braun made an argument that since the prosecution didn't call Mr. K as a witness, despite him being the tentpole for a lot of their arguments, they inherently committed some form of a Brady violation because he was not called as a witness. Why the fuck do I have Rosa Garcia calling me? She knows I'm deliberating. I'm not even gonna answer.
Yeah, I don't.
What?
Yeah.
How was that? Yeah,
so for that one, for me, I guess I don't really think there's much of an argument there. Like, if they wanted Kay to come in and testify, that they could have called him if that's what they wanted to do. Just because the officers didn't utilize a witness doesn't exclude, any police reports referring to them or any good police work that way. I guess would be my take.
I'm getting spam called. Give me 1 second.
I would say that there is not. It's not explicitly a Brady violation. It
No,
could
it's
be
not.
seen as a violation of the right to face your accuser and the Sixth Amendment of the United States, not Los Santos. But with the limited witness list, I think there needs to be exceptions to that rule. You know.
Well, but it was never.
They
once
obviously
stated-
could have called him as if they wanted to examine what he would say.
So here's the thing.
But they
Is-
never. I want
is-
to tell you guys. Okay, hold on.
Go ahead,
this is
Jerry,
something that's
please.
important for you guys. Okay, as judges, and when you're ruling,
Mhm.
you guys, there's no juries. Okay, you guys are the masters of the courtroom.
Mhm.
Okay, so you guys got full discretion. If you hear something dumb, or that's stupid, or that's gonna inhibit the case in any way, just say that's stupid and denied because I don't like it. You can do that. You can do that. Okay. And if it's real bad, obviously, Crane and other people are going to come at you. But you use your discretion on this stuff. That's a dumb thing to do.
Right.
It's a
Which
very
is-
stupid thing. I don't know. What did he say with the Brady
So
violation?
I wasn't asking for
Look it
input
up
on
in
it.
a civil case.
I wasn't asking for input. I brushed it aside. I just wanted to make sure that, especially Stout here, since he's newer, was aware why I just summarily.
I agree with you. I agreed with your decision.
Right.
What did he want?
Okay.
He wanted the case to be dismissed.
He wanted a dismissal with prejudice because Mr. K was not made available as a witness, apparently, despite the prosecution's case apparently relying solely on him, which it does not. It was the last ditch effort. It was bad.
Circumstantial evidence.
I will say it is at least on the surface a mountain of circumstantial evidence, and what I'm going to have to determine is if this is the point where a overwhelming amount of circumstantial evidence is enough to prove guilt for capital level offenses, because even the prosecution admitted that in their closing, right? It's a lot of circumstantial evidence, but it all adds up to something, right? Whether that's not enough is what I need to decide, and I just need to take time to do that. So.
Yeah, you do not mistrial a case for a Brady violation, by the way.
No.
More than likely, what should happen is it would be a civil case if your rights were violated. If you can mistrial the case, but you do not judge on that case.
And then, Jerry, I know you got in a little late. I know as far as the bail violation, it happened 38 minutes prior to this case starting. When it was first presented to me, there wasn't even a police report written up. There was no indication of what charges he would be receiving. I had no idea what to do, so I couldn't make a call to violate his bail without charges being pushed, right? So.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, if he violated his bail, he violated his bail. It doesn't matter if it was
and I can
1 minute before.
Right. It doesn't matter if it was 1 minute before, but also I need something tangible to look at to determine if he did.
Yeah, of course.
There is quite a report there now for it.
Yeah, now that I'm sure there is.
Which I'm sure I'll review and make that decision as I need to. All right. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go out there and just make the announcement to the people that are remaining there that I'm going to go ahead and place this into a continuance because it's just going to take me a while to debate. And I'm sure there's going to be just a couple conversations I need to have above and outside of this. And a lot of interviews to listen to because Bundy made a point to highlight every single piece of evidence during his closing, so I have to go through line by line. And there's 49 articles of evidence, including a couple of 2-hour interrogations. So.
I think that whole Miranda thing is going to be a kind of a big, kind of an issue.
Yeah.
I'm a little, honestly, that should have been argued. I'm going to have to say this right now, Norman. I think you fucked up. That should have been argued before the case.
I don't think it's
The
a fuck
whole
up.
thing.
I really don't think it's a fuck up.
You need to, that needs to be argued on both sides on why they didn't read the Miranda. You need to know their full story.
Both sides did argue. I have their full arguments on the record.
Okay, so they did have a full argument. I thought
Yes,
you said
I allowed both sides to enter in their statement. This wasn't just something that came up in Murphy's closing.
What did Bundy and Knight say?
Bundy and Knight stated that it was a voluntary interrogation. He came there on his own volition. And then attempted to patch it up through the direct examination of Knight while he was on the stand, pertaining to how he was moved to the location.
To that bit that we were talking about before, when if someone is like, I don't know where that came from. If that's like a something that happened before about something along the lines of like, if it's someone who should know about their Miranda or something along those lines,
Correct.
that it wouldn't be admissible. I
Yeah,
don't really know where that came from.
there was an
But
argument
they brought that up
inferred
during
that
as well.
Ramee is a multi-time felon and is aware of his rights just because of the nature of his existence. I'm not entertaining that portion. What I just need to make the determination as to whether this crossed over from a voluntary interrogation to a detainment or not. And then I can make a determination on it at that point in time. Because if he was detained and not read his rights, then yeah, we got a problem. But that's I just need to review everything that's on file to make that determination. I have full arguments from both sides as to why they did. I can review that. I can take my time to do so. I didn't feel comfortable throwing out a major piece of evidence alone, just based on the bits of arguments that they pieced together and put in front of me. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think that one probably could be talked about with multiple judges if you want.
Yeah,
I'm tell them to.
I'm definitely gonna bring that up for everyone for kind of an open discussion, because that's
I think you could say technically, I think it's possible that you set another precedent in this city.
Yeah.
How we want to do things.
I don't disagree.
I think that's pretty important. Either way, I think this sets a little bit of a case law going forward.
Yeah, I agree. Or at least a clarification of our Fifth Amendment, at least in some way. That this
in
case law
regards to
can
voluntary interrogations, I think that's important. And I'll say this: whichever way you rule is fine, as long as for now on that's how it's ruled. So.
Yeah, I agree. So, I think we'll be good. I'm just gonna go ahead and inform everybody that I'm gonna take a little bit of time to deliberate. I'll cut them on I'll cut Miguel on his conditions. At least he didn't violate during this entire time. I fully expect he'll return. And then I'll get to work on deliberations. I appreciate you guys for being here.
Let me know if you need anything.
Likewise, I'm gonna be reaching on a higher level for the the question that we have, obviously, but.
Yeah.
3 departments that actively hire and train people consistently for if you can.
Once Ramee's cleared up.
All of Indians know what that is.
This is very much like the priority.
Is Miguel still here?
No.
Oh yeah, he just walked in. Just a brief address to the court. I've started to take a look over the evidence and with regards to consideration. I want to do this case the proper justice that it deserves, no pun intended. I'm gonna go ahead and suspend this matter at this time. And we will reconvene at a later time for a verdict reading and sentencing if applicable. I'm gonna go ahead and dismiss everybody here at this time. Mr. Almerion is to be released from his bail conditions at this time, as he made it to court. That was the condition that was stipulated. I have no concerns that he won't make it back for a verdict and sentencing. I'm going to go ahead and place this into a continuance. I'll be reaching out via the docket to work to schedule when the verdict and sentence are to be read.
What's the decision regarding Mr. el-Rahman?
That's part of the deliberations, Counselor Gilfaxi. You can go at this time, but we'll make a determination with regards to the bail violation. Obviously, I haven't even had a moment to review the report that was put together on that. I just know what was briefly told to me in the court.
So just to confirm, Miguel is released from bail conditions. I assume he can talk to a judge or whatever to get his money back.
Yeah, I'll handle that.
Ramee is still under bail conditions at this time.
Not well. There's the question over the violation, right? So once I make a determination on that, we'll determine whether he gets the money he put forward back or not, as well as the other conditions outlined on the docket.
Your Honor.
Yes.
Is there? Are you aiming for tomorrow at evening or the day after? I'm trying to.
It'll be quick. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know about tomorrow. I understand, Director. I believe you may have a day of things you have planned tomorrow. That's my understanding.
Yes. I'm
okay.
Planning on learning some things.
Yeah, I understand. I'll put a notice on the docket. I'll make sure that all relevant parties are available for this. It's not going to be tomorrow. Like I say, I've got a couple of multiple-hour interviews to sit and listen to, 49 articles of evidence to go through, and testimonies from 9 individuals. So it's going to take me a little bit of time. So
are you the judge presiding over tomorrow's case over capped?
No.
Am I free to go, or am I going to be under custody still?
You are free to go at this time, Mr. el-Rahman.
All right.
Any future misdemeanors or felonies he may convict?
I guess bail conditions.
Violations, or?
Yeah.
Again, I'll be answering the question as with regards to the bail violation as I deliberate. I would not say that he remains under conditions at this time, given that he has again also fulfilled the requirement of making it to his court case. He has seen it through to the end, and I expect that you'll be here when the verdict is read.
Of course. You're here tomorrow. First person in the courtroom.
Well, it won't be tomorrow. Like I said, Ramee, it'll be maybe a day or two.
Oh, it might not be tomorrow? Oh, okay.
Correct. Brian's already indicated as such.
Okay. All right.
All right. This matter is placed into continuance for now while I deliberate. You're all free to go.
Good.